Welcome to being a part of an evolving FoodBev manufacturing SETA. Thank you for joining. The live stream will begin shortly. Welcome to being a part of an evolving FoodBev manufacturing SETA. Thank you for joining. The live stream will begin shortly.
Shadows broken, swept away, swept away.
Welcome to being a part of an evolving FoodBev manufacturing SETA. Thank you for joining. The live stream will begin shortly. A world of wonder, intrigue, and inspiration is about to unfold. Oh, please bring your cup of coffee and tea with you.
Run with your life, not behind. Behind the scenes, on the street, the shadows broken. Downstairs.
Ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to step inside the venue. A world of wonder, intrigue, and inspiration is about to unfold. Oh, please bring your cup of coffee and tea with you.
Run with your life, not behind. Behind the scenes, on the street. The shadows broken, swept away, swept away, swept away. Invited some people, cheap trade. A lie in your bed is all to say. Trust your body and your head.
Welcome to being a part of an evolving FoodBev manufacturing SETA. Thank you for joining. The live stream will begin shortly. Welcome to being a part of an evolving food bev manufacturing SETA. Thank you for joining. The live stream will begin shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to step inside the venue. A world of wonder, intrigue, and inspiration is about to unfold. Oh, please bring your cup of coffee and tea with you.
For those of you that got in early and got their seats early, well done and thank you. I am awaiting to welcome those that are walking. Can we settle down before we start? suppose we should be very grateful to COVID that has managed to bring to us all sorts of technological interventions. Today we're conducting this AGM in a quasi-forum. Quasi-forum in that there are people that are joining us online and there's people that are here physically. And yet the both of them are actually enjoying this AGM as it plays out. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you. My name is Ezra Ndwandwe. I am, for all your sins, I am your program director today. I always like to start any function of sorts with an apology because people have become so sensitive. But I think I must apologize to all of you that are going to be offended by me when I tell you my life stories, when I run the program. So please raise your hands if you accept my apology in advance. Apology accepted. Let's get started. To the Honorable Minister of the Department of Higher Education, Science and Innovation, Professor Blade Nzimande, who in absentia is recognized and acknowledged. The Director General at the Department, Dr. Sishi, also recognized. I am told he is around. He will pop in when he finds time to do so. To the Deputy Director General at the Department, Mr. Zukile Mvalo. Can I get confirmation that the guys who are online can hear us? Can somebody confirm that for me? We're good. Thank you. So there's people that are joining us online and on Microsoft Teams, on YouTube, and on Facebook, and I think it's very important that they become part of this amazing experience that you're going to have today. To the board members of FoodBev, Manufacturing SETA, the senior management of FoodBev Manufacturing SETA that are present here and that are joining us online, spokesperson for the MEC of Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs in KZN, Mr. Ndwandwe, representatives from eThekwini Municipality, Mr. Vuyo Chaiya and Mr. Tumsani Ntlengethwa, the representatives of all higher education institutions present here and that are online, the CEO of the National Chamber of Milling, Mr. Boikanyo Mokhatle, the CEO of Enterprise Ilembe, Mr. Linda Mngube, Office of the Deputy Minister, all our guests that are here and that are online, good morning to you. Thank you for joining us at this rather important gathering whose purpose is for us to account to you as to how we have done our business and to give you an opportunity to learn how we plan to take our business forward. Good morning to you. Let me first orientate you. To your right, so I almost said to your left, which would have been that. To your right, there are two exit points. We are in the land of the Zulu and the Indian. Any one of the two can decide to waltz in here with either a Nopkiri or an Asegai. Those are your exits. Those are your exits. Just make sure that you know where they are. The restrooms, as you come out at the doors where you came in to be welcomed, past the stairs, there's another coffee station. Past that, that's not the restroom. The next entries would be your restrooms. That's where they are. So, let's get started with the program, all the fun outside of here. I'm now going to give an opportunity for, I did not welcome you if you paid attention, for a reason. I did say good morning, did I not? At least in Nhlonipho nginayo. Can I conduct this program ngesizulu? Why not? I did say good morning. but there is somebody who's going to welcome you, and that is the chairperson of our board, Mr. Alan Campbell. Mr. Campbell, can I ask you to come and welcome us, please? Thank you.
Yes, good morning, indeed. I suppose I should say good morning to Noctula as well on screen. Good morning also to everybody who is online. I'm very, very happy to welcome you all to the 23rd AGM of FoodBev SETA. It's a particularly nice moment for us, to deal with the 2022-23 annual report that you will be taken through. I'm chairman of the board of FoodBev SETA. I've been on the board now this is our 3rd year, and my term ends 2 years from now. I'm saying ends, because I don't intend being there forever. I have colleagues that enable me to do what we do at FoodBev SETA, and that helped me quite a lot. This is the board as a whole of FoodBev, and I think it's important that you be introduced to them so that when I acknowledge people, I do it on behalf of that entire board. If we could go one screen forward, I think the photos of our board members should be there, and then I'll be able to introduce them to you. Can we move to the next screen, please? Oh, is it here? Yes. Oops. Thank you. There we go. Okay, the handsome gentleman top left is the chair of the board. Next to him is Anna Polwane, who represents Labour. How's Anna? There she is. The next gentleman is Atwell Nazo, also representing Labour, Mr. Nazo. Dr. Ndwandwe, you have already met, whom we are very happy to have on our board. Funeka Khumalo, there she is. Funeka, by the way, runs a chemicals business in the food industry. She's a chemist, one of those geeks, always quiet but dangerous. Mr. Kaba Kukuletu, is he here? Yes. Siyabonga Shwabate. Mr. Kaba is from KZN. Knows every single small business that you may mention to him. Very involved in the small business industry in the province. Also very helpful, on the board. And then Mapule Nganywa. There's Mapule. Interesting about Mapule is that she's the immediate former chair of the board. It takes, quite a person to serve under somebody else. Somebody else would have just pointed the finger in the air and walked. So Mapule has been instrumental in enabling a very smooth transition. And when she was chair, she was actually acting, as chair of the board. Has an illustrious history in the food and beverages sector. Very, very impactful person on our board. She also chairs one of our chambers, at FoodBev SETA. And then Mark Oliver is unfortunately not here, but online. He's not feeling totally well, but had agreed to join online. Richard Hutton is also not here in person. He also promised that he would join online, and Richard is in the dairy industry. Mark, by the way, is a trade unionist as well. Mobile Shabangu is here. Mobile. Yes, Mobile is one of our longest serving members on the board, and he always keeps a watchful eye, over whether we're betraying our reason for existence or not. Yes, Mobile, thank you for all your effort. Ntabe Zondo. Yes. Ntabe runs her own confectionaries, as well as a chain of retail outlets for groceries in Gauteng only, I think, in Tabe, right? Yes. So very knowledgeable about the industry too. Then Stembile Mzizi. There's Stembile. Before I met Stembile, I thought I was the shortest person alive. And then, I felt much more comfortable after meeting Stembile. Stembile also represents Labour, interestingly. A very soft but very well-spoken lady. She's the youngest member on the board. Sis Thuli Njapa. Whenever I talk to Sis Thuli and I want her to be nice, I normally say, Sis Thuli wakanjapa omuhle. And she normally comes down. So Sis Thuli is a CA, very involved with a lot of other government agencies doing very important work in our country that I think should be uncomfortable if I was to disclose. But CA has sat on a whole range of boards, in our country, contributed quite immensely in many, many respects. And then Trevor van Wyk, who hails from Premier Foods. We had a board meeting yesterday, and unfortunately Trevor had to leave after the board meeting. So hopefully he'll also be joining us online. But Trevor is serving his second term, on the board currently. He is also chairperson of our Governance and Strategy Committee. Richard Hutton is chairperson of the Finance and Remuneration Committee. The chair of the board also chairs the executive committee of the board. We also have in our presence members of our Audit and Risk Committee. Is the chairperson of the Audit and Risk Committee here. I can see him in front. Mr. Simenya. As I'm sure you know, to keep us in check, the chair of the Audit and Risk Committee is not a member of our board, is totally independent and casts an independent watchful eye over our finances. So when we deal with the finances and the audits, Mr. Simenya will give us his view of the outcomes of the audit that we had for the year under review. He is assisted, of course, by other members of the Audit and Risk Committee, whom I will give him an opportunity to introduce, when he takes the podium later. Also part of the Audit and Risk Committee is IT, incidentally. That is our team. Of course, without management, we are just nice people in suits, So the management team is led by our CEO, and many of you know her. Very vocal, very energetic, shares a name with our robot. Nokuthula Silabulele. Do you mind standing, please, Nokuthula? Nokuthula has been with the CEO, with the FoodBev SETA for 10 years, a total of 10 years now. She served FoodBev SETA also as the CFO, at some point. And she's also one of those people who assists us greatly with the ins and outs of how to do certain things when we find ourselves in a corner. Assisting Nokuthula is, of course, the CFO, Magugu Mapiwa. If you could rise, please. And the financials that you will see today, if you want to point a finger, that's where it must go. Of course, she has a team of managers, senior managers, who assist her in the work that we do. I'm told that I must be pressing at this point. Should I go back or forward? Okay, there we go. Yes, the other team members are, on screen, Priti Ngwasheng. Yes, Ngwasheng, right? Priti Ngwasheng, Senior Manager for Corporate Services. So the annual report in front of you, the documentation that you see, the screen, the website that you'll see later, Nokuthula in robot format, that's all Priti's work. Marketing and communications also falls under her portfolio. If you could rise, please, Priti. If you see anybody hyperventilating today, it would be Makatseng, who's responsible for stakeholder relations. So she leads, she's at the back there, Makatseng. She leads the team that deals with all of our stakeholders, including, putting together this AGM. I think she'll only be able to sleep properly tonight. I was saying to her this morning that there's nothing more you can do, Makatseng. The thing is about to start. It's either you've done it well or you haven't. Always does her absolute best, hails out of the private sector, and an invaluable member of Nokuthula's team. And then you have supporting Magugu, Pule Mkhupudi, Senior Manager for Finance. Mr. Mkhupudi, if you could rise. Yes, thank you. If you're owed any invoices, that's where you go. And then Sia, who's in IT, if you could rise, Sia. And IT is a new addition in FoodBev SETA, and Sia has been driving, us protecting your monies as taxpayers, from cyber attacks, and ensuring that the data we have, is pristine and is kept secure at all times. You will see Nokuthula Sibiya, who runs with all our research, young, very powerful lady. Yes, Nokuthula, thank you very much. She will be presenting later, and Mr. Mkiti, I always say, as I said to him this morning, without him I feel incomplete, because he deals largely with the core business of the SETA, all the learnerships, all the training. Mr. Mkiti, if you could rise, please. And of course, assisting him is the Senior Manager for Quality Assurance, Mr. Ndwandwe. And that's the team. I normally have this arm wrestle with the CEO whenever we have AGMs, that we can't have an AGM that has the majority of it attended by FoodBev SETA people. So we can't have 3/4 of the room is just FoodBev SETA. We're talking to ourselves in instances like that, right? So we've also constrained ourselves in terms of bringing a large contingent of people to allow more people, stakeholders in particular, to be able to attend. Now, allow me to acknowledge a few people. Firstly, Mr. Mvalo, thank you very much, DDG, for making it here today. Mr. Mvalo was planned to speak immediately after me. I happened to meet Dr. Sishi, the DG for the Department of Higher Education and Training, this morning at breakfast. And I was a bit surprised because he had indicated that I might not, And he said, no, I'm here. And I'll be very happy to actually come to the AGM. Health and Welfare SETA also has an AGM in Durban, not far from here. And he has to oscillate between the two. So instead of having Mr. Mvalo speak now, immediately after me, we'll actually have Dr. Sishi speak at the end of the program at about 12:30, immediately after the introduction of the website. We nonetheless appreciate your presence, Babu Mvalo. Without, of course, as you know, DHET, we wouldn't exist as a SETA. I also want to acknowledge National Chamber of Milling, Buikanyo. Haven't seen him in a long time, in a different world. We arm wrestled quite a bit. I was on the side of business associations, fighting for the space for small business, and he was on the side of the National Chamber of. We got to become very good friends, over time. So Buikanyo and Cindy from NCM, welcome to you. It was also interesting to see that the South African Council for Graduates, has quite a number of people who are here today, which is very nice. The chair, the CEO, and a number of senior managers as well. We welcome you. Food safety agencies and companies that are here today, a bit unusual, but we really appreciate that you could make it here. Skills development facilitators, training providers, business associations that are here, small businesses, and then also government. In addition to Babu Mvalo from DHET, we have the Office of the Premier that is here from KZN, which is very nice. The Department of Correctional Services is also here. We have a range of manufacturers who are here, which pleases me the most. Coca-Cola, Oceana, RCL Foods, South African Breweries, Sea Harvest, ShopRite Checkers, Tiger Brands, Woodlands Dairy, Crown Food Group, Premier Foods, Debonair's, Ekamanzi, Elise, is she here? Yes, welcome Elise. Ekamanzi is situated in the north of KZN. You probably know it better as a quell, you know, the water. And we had the privilege of visiting their facilities 2 days ago on Wednesday when we landed in the province. And we were treated very, very well. Thank you very much, Elise. We really appreciate it. Whilst I'm still on manufacturers, Lancewood must be acknowledged, McCain Foods, Fraser and Southern Oil. Of course, some of these are online, but we appreciate the fact that they confirmed that they would be here and are gracing this occasion, you know, with their presence. I normally get bored when I attend these things and people are rattling off, you know, we acknowledge this and so. You know, over time, though, I realized that it's important to know who's in the room, right? And to give you a sense of who's attending the event. So we also have a range of educational institutions, CPUT, Cape Peninsula University of Technology, CUT, which is different to CPUT, DUT. I happen to be in the lift with the gentleman from DUT. I can't see him now, it's a bit dark out there. There we go. Yes, sir. Gibbs is also here. We do a lot of work with Gibbs as well. Welcome. Hibiscus College is here. Johannesburg Culinary and Pastry School is here, all the way from Joburg, where I hail from. Welcome to you. Northwest University, University of Limpopo, the prof, I hope he's here. UJ and Eguruleni East Tibet College as well. If for any reason we missed anyone, it's not out of malice. We are very, very happy that you could all make it. If you've come to our events over time, you might notice that we've actually, you know, moved a bit. I think 2 years ago when we started, 3 years ago when we started as a board, there was hardly any manufacturers in the room. It's either we were trying to hide a lot of things, you know, or they were just not interested in what we were doing. It's impressive to see the number that is here. I'm also told that we expected 150 people to come today to the physical venue, and we had 100, you know, expected to be online. And that number was kept, you know, the requests to come kept on coming in beyond us reaching those numbers. So you may end up with more than 100 people who are online today via LinkedIn, you know, via MS Teams and otherwise. So we really appreciate your presence. I don't want to take away the thunder from the team that would be presenting. My job was to officially welcome you and to declare this AGM open. Thank you very much.
Here's to giving somebody a hand and they take the whole arm. Sorry, Chair. I did say that we are in the land of the Indian, right? I did say that, and I did apologize in advance, right? I'll tell you a short story just to inspire your thinking. Have you ever noticed that Indian people are the only people that give their children names that have to do with money? Prakash, Nikesh, Likesh, Meshni. There must be a sh for cash. Sukesh. You've never seen this except in this land. So it's actually quite amazing. I think I'm excited to be where I am to be directed where to make this cash so that I can also name my kids after cash. As the chairperson has indicated, the keynote address will happen just after the launch or rather the GenX that we want to present to you, the website Jenny. For now, we go straight into the adoption of the previous minutes. Is that what we have? So if you wish to ask a question, you can log in onto slido.com and you can ask a question, which of course will go via the team at the back. It will reach me I will give you an opportunity if I deem your question worthy. Do not ask about money. Okay, I'm joking. You can ask any question. We will actually give you an opportunity to do that. So I'm under the impression that you would have received minutes of the previous AGM, and I wish for us to actually adopt those minutes. But before we do that, to give the chairperson comfort, we already have 90 people that are online, which is good. And in this room, at least at the last count, there's 80 people that registered, which is absolutely good. Previous minutes, previous AGM minutes, I want to have those adopted. So, I am going to ask for anyone, except for board members, of course, to raise their hand. Yes, ma'am. Sir, I didn't get that. Oh, sorry. My eyesight is also. Oh, there you go. And there's a gentleman again there at the back. A lady. I give up on me and my eyesight. Yes. I did apologize in advance, so please don't take any offense if I called you ma'am and you are sir, and I called you sir and you are ma'am. I apologized in advance, and I'm going to ride that wave. So, that said, that actually gives us the authority to adopt the minutes of the previous AGM. Any matters arising? None. That's it. Let's move on. So, I did make mention about the Indian population and their names, but there is something that needs to be said about names in general. When I say Jesus Christ, you know what comes to mind. When I say Julius Caesar, you know what comes to mind. Oh, but we have our own Julius, son of the soil, one who observes the development of Africa, one who observes governance of Africa. And indeed, I have to say, Julius Nyerere was the best president. Or which Julius did you think I was talking about? On that note, I'm going to ask for our CEO, Ms. Nokuthula Silamulela, to come and address us on the annual report. Ma'am.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Why are we sleeping? We are in the land of honey and banana and everything else. So good morning. Again, it's getting there a little bit better. Maybe later on, you'll be saying good morning. So thank you, Chairperson of the board, my board members, the DG, all protocols observed. I also apologize in advance for my voice. I think it's my adopted voice now because I don't know what's going on with it. It just disappears. But yesterday we had a board meeting, so maybe I need to blame my board members for taking away my voice because I had to talk the entire time. Today, we come to share good news with you. Very good news because you will see as I go through my presentation how we have performed as a SETA. I normally talk to young kids, and they normally want to understand what we do, what a SETA is. But today, I'm talking to adults who want me to account to them in terms of how we have spent their investment in us and take it back to our stakeholders. So that is what I'm here to do today. So please give me the opportunity to talk to you. It will not be very long and hopefully not boring. And it will be exciting. And you'll have an opportunity at the end to ask your questions. But I will ask on behalf of my board that the questions are limited to the presentations that we have before you today. Because if you want to kill us on why we have not paid you or why we have not registered your learners, it is not today. That will happen when we meet you as our stakeholders. There you can take out your daggers, ma'am, and the Zulu in the stoop. So we will be very ready. But today, this is the chairperson's and his board presentation to you, using me as his voice piece or mouthpiece to tell you what the SETA has done. So please limit your questions specifically to the annual report's information. So I will start by highlighting our mission as a SETA. What is our mission? Our mission is to support the drive to increase employability of our workforce entrants. I wish I had time to tell you a story about a strategic session that happened in August. Before we could finish the first slide, the chairperson asked us the question, what is our mandate? And not the mandate that is written in your reports and all that, but why do we exist? And it had to do with employment or employability. And we couldn't go past that slide. So you can imagine how interesting that session was. But today I'm telling you. Okay, thank you. But I'm audible, I hope, with my hoarse voice. So today I'm telling you that our mission is to increase employability of the workforce entrants and to enhance greater entrepreneurship. I'm sure there are lots and lots of entrepreneurs here, whether with us physically and online, who want to understand what we do or what are the opportunities out there, is to improve the competitiveness of our industry and to maintain relevance of the SETA in terms of the skills interventions of the sector to the sector. We do this by facilitating skills, training and driving, investment in human capital development. How do we do this? Through innovation and being the best at managing the funds that we receive from the sector. We get our funds from levies, from you guys, so we need to ensure that we manage them. That's why we've got audit and risk, Chairperson and his team here to keep us honest and hold us accountable. We collaborate with the industry, who are our partners, and also higher education institution, and we also go out to the world to understand what they do and how we can collaborate with them. And we increase visibility of what we do and how we can do that. I'm sure all of you, if you haven't, do follow our social media pages. And if you don't, please do. You'll find us on Instagram. You'll find us on, not TikTok, I think, but you'll find us on Facebook. TikTok, we're still trying to be Gen Z. We're not there yet, but we will be there. And also you'll find us on LinkedIn. We're very, very busy. Makateng, they always want content. We have our values of service excellence, that is delivering a service to you that is excellent at all times. Yes, we're not perfect, but we try by all means to ensure that we respect you as our stakeholders. With integrity, we are committed to you, we are transparent. That's why we're here, to tell you exactly what we've done in the past year, and we're accountable to you as our stakeholders. The chairperson has already introduced my team, and I thank you, Chair. These are the people that I do the work that I do with. There is no way we could achieve even half of what we do or what we've achieved without the team that I have, which is competent, very skilled, very young, and very vibrant. Okay, technology is failing me now. It does not want to move. All right, thank you. So I'm going to give you highlights of the year that has been. We actually received about 804 applications for that we call Annexure 2 for workplace skills plans and annual training reports. These plans assist us with understanding what the sector needs. We speak a lot about them when we have our stakeholder engagement, and about 760 of them were compliant. So we continue to engage our stakeholders to ensure that we have 100% compliant documents, because these also give you access to discretionary grants. So that's why we always encourage our stakeholders to join us in our workshop where we capacitate you in terms of how to complete these application forms. Like any other organization, we have processes and procedures that we need to follow, and in doing that, we need you to apply and complete these forms and ensure that you complete them accurately so that we can approve them and then provide you with your grants. We have zero irregular and fruitless or wasteful expenditure. Please, can we have a round of applause for that? We take pride in ensuring that we comply to all the rules, the laws, and the regulations that are set for us as the SETA, and to ensure that we don't waste the money that we receive from the sector. We do a lot, like I said, in terms of talking to our young people, telling them what career guidance, careers are available in the sector. Normally, when they speak about food and beverages, people talk just the food, the chefs, the catering. We do have chefs here, we do have caterers here, but we're more in the manufacturing space, and there's a science of food there. So we make our young people understand what the careers are, or what exciting careers we have in our sector, like food technologies, biotechnologies, chemists, all those exciting careers that we have over and above the careers that are common, that are known by our young people. So we did about 69 career awareness, whether we hosted them or we were invited to attend them, and we trained 82 career development practitioners so that they too can help us make sure that our young people know what are the careers that are available in this sector. We have 29 strategic partnerships ranging from non-government organizations to our partners, which are our employers, to our training providers, to our higher education institutions that are about 140 million. The one challenge that the board gave me yesterday was to ensure that these partnerships are changed and upgraded to employment. So when we have partnerships, we need to go back and say, now we invested so much money. Out of this investment that we've made, how many job opportunities have we created? Or how many entrepreneurs have we developed? And that's the aim of these partnerships. And that's why when we talk to you, we always insist that these partnerships must be innovative, must be sustainable, must be impactful, and must be different to what we normally do as SETA, because we do fund you through discretionary grants or normal learning programs that you do on a daily basis. But these ones have to make a huge difference in our communities in terms of at least creating employment or at least developing entrepreneurs. We have supported unemployed beneficiaries of about 8,451, and we also fund the employed to a tune of about 4,500 of those. At work, we've created 8 permanent positions that we created in the year under review, and then we only have a 7% vacancy rate that was recorded. We're a very small SETA, but we've got very capable young people that work for the SETA. Our average age, I think, in the SETA is about 32, so we've got really vibrant, young, energetic people that work for the SETA. 85% of our staff, most charity begins at home. I can't only facilitate training of our unemployed and employed, but we also facilitate training and development of our employees. And we spend a lot of money encouraging our own employees to continue studying and developing themselves. So we've got several people who have studied and completed their degrees, diplomas, learnerships, and different programs. I think I've got one who just completed his MBA this year, another one completed his master's, another one in my office who completed degree this year. And this person started as a receptionist, but she works in my office right now, and this year she completed her degree. So we're doing very well in that. We have invested about 41 million to train about 1,100 of our youth and women in entrepreneurial skills. Hundreds of these learners are people with disabilities. I had the pleasure of going to Free State where we were hosted by an entity called Cum Laude, where we were graduating about hundreds, and it was 100% completion rate of our people with disability. That was really, really humbling and very exciting. About 87 of our small businesses, NGOs, CBOs, and cooperatives have been supported, and our focus in the current financial year and going forward is to continue to develop our small businesses. Because as we know, South Africa is going through the most these days. We thank the Springbok team for bringing a smile to our very gloomy selves and winning a World Cup. But we know that we are going through the most, but we are still hopeful, and we know that South Africa is very resilient. And in that, we need to create employment by developing entrepreneurs who will then create employment with us. We have supported and trained about 380 labor representatives. We have in the board about 6 labor representatives that ensure that we also fund the workforce that is out there for us. Over the years, we have improved as a SETA in terms of our performance. About 2 years ago, we performed at 80%, and we kept on telling you that we're going to continue to improve and ensure that whatever you have asked and mandated us to do, we do. And the previous year, we reached about 95%, and in the current year, we achieved 98% overall performance as a city. And I thank you for that. And I will highlight the reason why we didn't make 100%, because that was our goal. But trust me, the following year, we will reach our goal. Commitment. If I don't, I will not reach it. I will not reach it. So together we have cultivated a dynamic environment that promotes the skills development and fosters innovation. My chairperson is very much about innovation. He says, do things differently all the time. If you're doing something the same way all the time, you can't expect different results. Be innovative. And as young people, we need to be very innovative. And sustain the growth of our industry. Our continued partnership with you, our industry, is a testament to our shared dedication to advancing the sector and creating a skilled workforce. That is what we need to do. Creating a skilled workforce is what we have to do. Skills are really, required, especially in South Africa. I've had the opportunity to go all around the world and understand how the world is, which we one day will come back and share with you during our stakeholder engagement, the lessons we've learned and what we're going to implement through those lessons that we've learned. I will now get into the detail of each and every program that we have been mandated to implement in the current year. We have to sign an SLA, a service level agreement, with the Department of Higher Education and Training through the DG's office on behalf of the minister on a yearly basis. And I must tell you, they hold us accountable every quarter. We have to go back to DHET and account. And that's why I commit to you today that we will continue to improve. So that's why we have a DDG with us today, because he said, I want to hear what you're going to tell our stakeholders. No lies here. So he's keeping me honest and keeping the board that I'm doing this on behalf honest. So again, my thing is not working. We've got 4 programs as a SETA. It's a program on administration and support, where we basically deal with the support structures, our plans, the procurement plans, the strategic risk registers, what we're going to do in terms of our stakeholder management, how we're going to monitor and evaluate, how we're going to implement and capacitate the sector, what is our ICT strategic plans, and our chambers. We use a lot. Chambers also are quite a critical component of the SETA. That is a conduit between the SETA and the stakeholders. And our board that is here are the chairpersons of the chambers. So we also have to plan in terms of how we are going to implement these in the current year, and we develop these, and every year we need to then go back to the board and indicate how we have implemented these plans. We also, like I said, have accountable to DHET, so they ensure that we send to them governance charter reports, and they want to see it in the annual performance plans, because that's where they keep us accountable. We had 80% targets for grants payouts, but I believe we exceeded that by 23% because we paid about 103% in terms of a payout ratio. So we continue to pay the grants that you guys need so that you can then capacitate our workforce, whether employed or unemployed learners. When you talk this much, your tongue gets tight. So program 2, we've got skills planning. Mr. Gidi, I'm sure most of you have had the pleasure to engage with him. He is responsible for this section, together with Thuli Sibiya, who is responsible for research. I'm saying he's responsible for this together because there are WSPs that go and get paid by Mr. Snaye Mgidi. And then part of this is research that is developed by Ms. Thuli Sibiya. Research is very important in the sector because it tells us and the sector what the sector needs. What are the new trends out there in the sector? It also helps us develop our skills plans, which are called sector skills plans, where we understand what are the hard-to-fill vacancies, where we understand what are your crucial, critical, and scarce skills, where we understand what are the change drivers, and what partnerships, in terms of strategic partnerships, that we need to enter into. And it also tells us information, or informs us information about the sector, what is happening in the sector. And those reports are developed by Ms. Thuli Sibiya. But she uses the information that she gets from WSPs, which are work skills plans, to understand the need of the sector. That's why we always insist that please help us and complete these documents in the most honest way, so that we can then understand what the sector needs. And then she takes these and hands them over to SNAI, who then ensures that these are paid through finance department that is headed by Mr. Mohopudi Pule. So we developed one sector skills plan this year. We also developed about 6 research reports, and over time, I think before the end of the financial year this year, we will share what these reports have told us in terms of findings and recommendations. And then I must say that I'm very proud that part of this research have been published. There's an article, one research article, that was published in the current financial year. Please, a round of applause for that. And so when we develop these sector skills plans, then we prioritize what the sector needs in terms of learning programs for both the unemployed and the employed. We don't work in silos, and you'll hear me picking up different managers because I don't want you to think this is one person's responsibility. We're all in this together. So I saw my team when I said Mrs. Naye is responsible. They were like, I'm a CEO, I know my team. So I just wanted to make sure that they're also woken up, and also at the same time, we work together. We are a team. So it starts from one side and goes all the way to the end where we pay. So the team here is not only responsible for what they think they are responsible for because of their job titles. At any given point in time, we sit in the boardroom and I ask Mr. Josiba there what is happening in learning programs. And he needs to know because we're a team. Because if he doesn't know and you call and for whatever reason he goes to his line, he mustn't say, that's not my responsibility, it's not my job. He needs to tell you and assist you. And if it's more technical, then he could help, then he will direct you to where you're supposed to go. But rest assured, the basics he will know. So we are a team. And as a team, we assist Mr. Mkiti in implementing learning programs and projects, which are program 3, in supporting the unemployed. We supported about 8,451 beneficiaries in the current financial year, or in the year under review, through different learning programs, learnerships, internships, graduate, and or TVETs, as I said. And there are entered programs and completed programs. So we entered about 2,874 learnerships. We completed about 1,777 learnerships. The numbers that you see in green with the plus, it means we have exceeded what we were asked and what we had. Thank you. We had signed the SLA with our DHET stakeholders. And why we exceeded is because we have gone out there and augmented the revenue that we receive from you guys by engaging with different funders, whether locally or internationally. We also go and look for funding from the departments, different departments out there, National Treasury being one of them. We don't only rely on the funding that we get. We are knocking on doors on a daily basis so that we can then exceed what we have signed with the Department of Higher Education and Training. Some we get, some we don't get. And then when you also cancel or terminate some of the programs that you had asked for different reasons, we understand that sometimes you can't implement what you asked for, we take that money back to you and then we fund even more. That's why we are able to actually exceed what we had signed for with the department. So I'm glad to say that we will, as we go along, see mostly greens. We also completed 1,707 learnerships as indicated. We entered 526 learners into different internships. We entered 526 graduates that were placed in different entities. We also place graduates in small businesses, by the way. We don't only place them in large and medium-sized companies. We also find those entrepreneurs that we develop in terms of placing graduates so that they can get the experience that they require, including the interns that need some experience so that they can get their qualifications. Of these that we've entered, about 259 have completed their programs. You might ask, why is it not 100%? It happens that sometimes when they are in the industry getting their experience, then they get poached by other companies or they get opportunities because some companies still require experience for you to get a job. So it means then we can't register them as completed in the current financial year if they've moved away from us. But it's also very exciting and encouraging when we see our graduates getting full-time employment and being absorbed by the industry. We have entered 847 of our students in TVET, from TVET colleges in also workplaces, and about 171 of those have completed. 6 unemployed learners were registered in the candidacy program, and 717 were registered in the skills program. 270 of those have completed the skills program, and about 442 have completed workplace programs. The candidacy programs have not completed because it's a 3-year program, so these were entered in the previous financial year. Oops. Then we move to the support of the employed, because we know that the funds that we also get from our employers, and we also need to capacitate our employees with funding so that they can also improve their skills. Learning is a lifelong journey, so we will always continue to fund capacitation of our employees. About 1,700 of these were registered in learnerships, and 839 completed learnerships. 1,213 registered in skills programs, and 753 completed skills programs. There were employees who also were funded on basic adult education training. 243 were registered and 239 completed. So we have funded about 4,505 beneficiaries who are employed. We also fund bursaries to both the employed and the unemployed. I know most of our learners are funded by NSFAS. However, as SETAs, we are also mandated to assist the government fund bursaries. So we fund both our employees and the unemployed in different programs. We have funded at least 111 registered bursaries on MDPs, which is your management development programs. Of those, about 89 have completed. We've also funded 204 in higher education institutions, TVET colleges, and community colleges. We also fund community colleges. 204 of those were funded. 20 have completed the qualifications. We funded 39 masters and PhD students, and about 11 of those have completed. Masters and PhD students assist us in research as well, because they too develop research papers that assist the sector. Please, a round of applause for the PhD register. You see, I'm asking for myself. The apprentice that we support, this is one of our priority areas even in our sector skills plan, because we are in the manufacturing industry. So we support the development of artisans of about 319, and about 203 have completed, which is really, really great, because when I started at the SETA, there was, I think we had funded about 10 or 20 artisans. To get to 203 artisans that have completed their training is really good for the sector. We also support small businesses. As indicated, 79 of these were business owners that were trained and learners that work for them, and 8 organizations were supported. And this is where we did not meet our targets. And the reason is because AG is very strict when it comes to registration of learners and then indicating that you have met a target. And some of them, we could not register them on time because we did not receive compliant documents on time. Not that we did not want to support small businesses, but it was just about receiving these compliant documents. And that's why in this current financial year, you will probably have had enough of us with so much training that we've done in capacitating our stakeholders, because I think on a monthly basis, we have a capacity session so that we can drill it in our stakeholders in terms of what a compliant document is and what is expected from you, because at the end of the day, we do need to ensure that we get our processes right and all the documents that are required are compliant to the standards that is required by both the DHET and AG. We have partnerships with our sector, which is our employers. 6 of these partnerships were entered into in the current financial year or in the year under review, and then 16 of them was with sports school education institutions. And then we've also supported lecturer development. DHET is very strong about and emphasizes the importance of supporting our higher education institutions and supporting and capacitating our lecturers by providing them with work exposure so that they understand what the industry needs and go back to their institutions and develop curriculum that is relevant to the sector. So that's why we support the lecturer development and expose them to the sector. 6 of them were exposed to the sector and 6 completed. We have supported entrepreneurs because we do have small businesses. Those are the businesses that are already operating. But also we fund the development of entrepreneurs. That is, the people who've got an idea and maybe they don't know what to do with their idea. So we then fund them in terms of training them to understand how to run a business. So we have supported about 15. And that is outside the special projects that we do where we're developing small businesses and developing entrepreneurs. This is through the annual performance plans and SLA that we've signed with the department. We have supported 3 trade unions that we have recognized in our SETA, and then we had about 11 strategic engagements with our stakeholders in the previous year. We, as indicated earlier in my highlights, we had 69 career guidance events that we either hosted or we were invited to, and also we capacitated about 33 of our learners in urban areas and 36 in rural areas. At the end of the day, 82 career development practitioners were trained. We had, remember, we're accountable to you, so we need to keep us in check by ensuring that we go back and have a survey and ask you whether we're doing what you're asking us to do in terms of satisfaction levels. And I'm glad to highlight that 82% said you are satisfied. Thank you for that. We will continue, by the way, to ensure that this number increases because we are accountable to you. We have also a program 4, which is quality assurance. This quality assurance always confuses us because there's something new every day. It's very legislative. This is where we develop qualifications, and Togozo is always at pains trying to explain to us what is new in the space of quality assurance and qualification development. We have submitted about 13 occupational qualifications in the previous financial year. And I'm sure with the stakeholder capacitation workshops that we've had, you are all aware that we have new qualifications that are being developed because the old qualifications expired in June 2023 of this year. And then now we have developed and registered 6 qualifications, new occupational qualifications for the sector. We used to have 27. I think now they've put all of them together and said, let's develop 6. So you are aware. If you're not aware, we will continue to capacitate you because these are the new qualifications that you need to get accredited for. One of them had issues when we did, or when the QCTO did public negotiations with our sector, and that's the fish processing qualification. But I'm glad to say and excited to tell you that now the fishing industry has given us a thumbs up, and we've taken it back to QCTO for this qualification to be registered. So we basically have all the required qualifications registered with QCTO and SAQA. Thank you. As part of our capacitation of higher education institutions, we have assisted about 2 colleges to get accredited with occupational programs and 2 public colleges that obtained or attained secondary accreditations. That's really amazing because when we also started the SETA, none of our TVET colleges or community colleges were accredited with our qualifications. So this is a progression at DDG because you told us to assist the colleges, you told us to assist TVETs, and that's exactly what we do. And we'll continue to assist them with now getting them accredited with the new qualifications that have just been registered. Now this is where I end as a CEO because I used to have the cap of a CFO, and I would have told her about these numbers and presented these numbers. But now I have handed over the baton to a very qualified CFO, Mr. Makuku Mapiwa, who will now tell you all about the exciting stuff in terms of finances, what we've done with your money, why we have retention of surplus funds, what are surplus funds, and what are commitments. That's what he will tell you. He'll tell you how we have implemented programs through the funds that we receive. So I'm not going to be a CFO now. I'm going to hand over to Mr. Makuku Mapiwa, and I thank you for listening to me. Thanks.
Sanbonan, Ninja. Yeah, standing here in front of you is Makuku Mapiwa, as the CEO has already said. I come from very humble beginnings, and it is therefore it is very it is very humbling for me to stand in front of you to present the financial information today. A story is told of a man who was very greedy, that when he was dying, he told his wife that when I die, I want you to collect all my money and you bury me with it. Now, lo and behold, the day came, he died. And on the day of the burial, the woman came with a small envelope, threw it in the box. My friend and said, I don't believe it. Are you saying you put all that money in the box? I said, yeah, What I did, I collected all the money, deposited it in my account, wrote a check for him, I put it in the box. If he can cash it, he can have it. So today, maybe I will show you some of the stakeholders that we have given you a check in my presentation, and if you can cash it, you can have the money. Right. Now, my work here is very easy. I need to present the financials in three formats. Firstly, the financial performance looking at year on year and how we have performed against past years. And then I will also take you through how we have performed against our budget, as well as finally take you through our financial position. Now, starting looking at the revenue, we received 539 million compared to 476, which represent a 13% increase in the past year. Now, from an admin expenditure point of view, we spent 67 million against a prior year of 664, which represent an increase of 6%. And from a total grant expenditure, we spent 45 million against a prior year of 355 million, which represent a 28% increase. Now that is further broken down then to 94 million for mandatory grants and 359 million for discretionary grants. And so you also see that from both grants, we had a significant increase from 83 million for mandatory grants to 94 million, as well as 359 in the current year versus 272 million in the prior year. Now, from a total grants perspective, our payout ratio was 95 versus 84%. Now, this is not in contradictory to what the CEO said, where she spoke specifically to grant payment of discretionary grants of 103%. Now, looking at the budget comparison, starting from the right, you can see the person who drafted these slides is an old school person, right put, that you remember the T accounts, those who did accounting, you draw a line and you say, on the right is revenue, on the left is expenditure. So this is an old school person who drew this. Yeah. So total revenue actually was 1.44, total revenue, including return funds. Before you think, yo, this SETA has got so much money. Look, total revenue is 1.4 billion versus a total budget of 1.4. Now, if you look at the split, actual revenue is 538 million versus coupled with the return funds of 906 million. Now, you may ask, what sort of accounting is this? This is purely because when we, at the year end, whatever surplus remains, we need to go and apply to Treasury to retain those funds so that we are able to use the funds for future budgets. Now, Treasury then changed in the last 2 years to say, in calculating that, you must exclude commitments. Then that's why these amounts has ballooned so much. So every year we apply for 906 million, we went to DHET, DHET supported us, and we went to Treasury. Then that amount was approved. Now we bring it back into the budget to so that we are able to spend from an approved budget. Now, if we look on the left side, we have total expenditure showing actual at 521 million and budget of 1.436. You can see is balancing. So we are good accountants. We make sure that what is on the right is equal to what is on the left. Now, this is further broken down to mandatory grants of 94 million versus a budget of 91 million. We see a slight increase there above the budget, which yes, one will think, oh, are you spending more than the budget? Yeah, that is because it shows that our payout ratio is increasing, as shown in the previous slide. Now, from a discretionary grants, we fell short. We paid 359 million versus a budget of 1.2 billion. Now, that's because purely these commitments that I spoke to on the revenue side, some of them are long-term. Some of them last 2 years, 3 years. Some can even go, especially with artisans, can go to 4 or 5 years. Now, that then explains why some of this, when you look at our actual expenditure of 359 versus a budget of 1.2, it looks like there's a huge difference. But it's purely because we have to now carry these commitments into our budget. Now, from an administrative expenditure point of view, we spent 67 million versus a budget of 70 million. Now here we just showing how the impact of the COVID, as well as how we've recovered from that impact. But if you're an actuary or an accountant or mathematician, you can see that if you draw a straight line here, we should be sitting somewhere here. We are just slightly below what we should be had we not been affected by the COVID. And then my last slide is for me to show you the financial position. First of all, we show you that we are on the green in terms of our liquidity and as well as solvency. Our total assets exceed our liabilities. You can see total asset is sitting at 963 million versus total liability of 34 million. Now, obviously, there's an increase from a decrease from our assets, total asset side, and there's a decrease from our liabilities. Now, from a commitment, total commitments, we are sitting with 917 million versus prior year of 883 million. Now, that shows a slight increase of 3.9. Now, 99% of our reserves were committed in the current year versus 98% in the prior year. From a capital assets point of view, we spent 1.7 million. You can see the difference from the previous years. When we moved offices, we spent quite a lot in making sure that the offices are fit for purpose, where we spent 5.1 million. Now, we also disposed quite a lot of assets which were redundant in the previous year at 871,000, and only this year we disposed 133,000 assets. Now, irregular expenditure, I know that the CEO said we don't have any regular expenditure. You may be wondering why are we showing irregular expenditure here as additions. This irregular expenditure, 499,000, was previous year's irregulars that was continuously recognized in the current year. So we do not have any new irregular expenditure that came in the year, except for those that were uncovered in the past. Now, out of those regular expenditure, we wrote off 1.8 million, and while in the past year we wrote off 3.3 million. So I leave this to the chairperson of the Audit and Risk Committee to come and take us through the audit outcome. Thank you.
Thank you, CFO. Good morning, everyone. Thanks, Program Director and Chairman, for the opportunity and responsibility given on me to present to you not my opinion, but the opinion of the Auditor General. As you know, every year the Auditor General goes around auditing all the entities that belong to the state and gives opinions. And we are happy that in the results that she gets, the SETA, FoodBev SETA, is on the green side of all the opinions that you always hear about from the Auditor General. So, CEO, I am not concerned about boring because, as you know, I'm an auditor by background, and we're known for being boring. So I'm not going to be trying to not be boring. But one thing I will do is I will definitely observe the protocol. I will not repeat the people that have been mentioned, and thanks for mentioning them, Chairman. And you did, I'm from Limpopo. You did mention that the University of Limpopo is here. I'd like to meet them, just to meet them outside of the province. So the opinion is on your annual report pack. I'm sure most of us have this in front of us, and I'm not going to be redoing anything that's already been done, but I will just summarize it through discussion with you as presented to me. So I will break it down in the sections that it has been broken down by the Auditor General, but I will start with the basis of her opinion. The Auditor General is Ms. Maluleke, so I'm not representing her, as I said. I'm representing the SETA. So the basis of her opinion is based on the frameworks that govern how she must audit. So she came to us, she did the audit, and in 3 and 4 and 5, she is really just telling you what helps her, what are the guidelines that help her get to her opinion. And then on 6 and 7, I'm still on page 94, 6 and 7, she has got a matter that she needed to emphasize. That matter the CFO did speak to is the 906 that he had presented there that says that the retention of surplus. There was a little bit of discussion between us, the department, and the Treasury on whether that surplus has been approved to be carried forward to be meeting the commitments that the SETA has. That process was not done by the time the Auditor General had his opinion issued, so she was emphasizing that matter. And then on paragraph 8, she was just highlighting the disclosure, a small change in the PFMA regarding the disclosure, that she's not, the financials or the annual report does not disclose the movements in the irregular, wasteful, and fruitless expenditure. She's only looking at the comparative, and she says she's not expressing an opinion on the disclosure. It does not mean that she doesn't express an opinion on whether there was wasteful, fruitless, and irregular expenditure. She still does express opinion. Her opinion includes that, except she doesn't talk about the disclosure. And then on page 95, under paragraph 9 and 10, she talks about the fact that she's not responsible for the reporting. It is the accounting authority's responsibility to report, and she then is not responsible for that. But when the accounting authority takes that responsibility, they take it knowing that they're responsible for the compliance with the laws, conformance with the standards, and importantly, reporting on whether they're reporting as a going concern or a company that goes, an institution that goes down tomorrow. So I'm glad to say that SETA financials are reported on an ongoing concern basis, which means this year we will be able to fulfill the mandates that have been given to us. Right, and then on (11) and 12, she talks about her own responsibility. Her responsibility in the main is to give an assurance. There's a word that we use, reasonable assurance, which is the highest level of assurance you will get, that there is no material misstatements in the financials that are reported to you, or in all the reporting that is done in this document in front of you. And then 13 through 18 is one of the most important part of this, well, not necessarily of her report, but of her job, but of this report, because this talks to the reason for existence of the SETA. So all the programs, the 4 programs that the CEO has been looking at, this is where she expresses her opinion on those. So she starts by saying that she chooses one, and she focuses on that in her doing her audit work. However, on a quarterly basis, the internal audit fraternity does go through these performance reports, and they actually give us an opinion, and that opinion goes to the department on a quarterly basis. Then I go to the, I'm now on page, where am I? Page 96, and I'm looking at 24, 25, 26, 27, and that is about compliance with legislation. Whether the SETA has complied with the legislation. The CEO spoke earlier that we comply with the legislation as a SETA, and indeed the Auditor General agrees with us. And 28, 29, 30 is other information. It's important because we usually know, in the past at least, it's been changed for a while, that the accountants look at the accounting information, the numbers. But here it's telling us that they're looking at all information that is in this document. So they don't just look at the financials and whatever other fleshy things we say, we can say whatever we say. No, we've got to say them, and they must be truthful, and they will go through them. So she's just saying she's gone through that, and she's comfortable that we have not said any untruths in there. And on paragraph 31, she's just saying before she issues this report, obviously she goes through her work, but before she issues this report, she checks if anything could have changed before she issues the report, and she's reporting there that nothing had changed by the time she issued her report. And last 2 paragraphs, which is 32 and 33, is that she doesn't necessarily rely on internal controls for her opinion, but she does look at it, and she hasn't identified anything in the internal controls that say the internal controls are not working. Then I'm going to go to the important, not that others are less important, more important paragraphs that are 1 and 2, which is the opinion. And maybe let me explain the opinions before I say what her opinion is. We've got 4 types of opinions. We've got unqualified opinion, qualified opinion, we've got a disclaimer, and we've got an adverse opinion. I know there are rumors of certain institutions in the past celebrating qualified opinion because it sounds like it's qualified. That is a bad opinion. It's not a good opinion. So I am happy to say we are presenting to you the annual report that is supported by an unqualified opinion with no material findings. And that's what the Auditor General has done. And that's the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.
Mr. Semenya takes a cup for being truthful. He is boring. I mean, who makes reference to a document that you guys don't have? Paragraph 9, paragraph 6, this, that. Oh my God. Well, he's assuming that each one of you that came in received this morning, right? So this is the information that he's talking about. So when you go in there, you'll find this. This assists to put in context what Mr. Semenya was talking about, what the CEO spoke about, and what the CFO spoke about. It's all in here. You can interrogate it all you want. The one part that I loved about what Mr. Semenya said, especially coming from Limpopo, is he wants to meet the guys from the University of Limpopo outside of the province. So obviously they don't meet in Limpopo. Well done, sir. Thank you. I am now going to take, why is everything falling? I'm now going to give you an opportunity as per the agenda to ask questions. Are we still okay online? They're here? We're good. Okay, so maybe if we can take 2 questions here and take 2 questions online, if at all they are there. But as I continue to tell you about my journey in preparation of the roaming mics that need, or they're there already. So my wife and I take our child every now and again to an educational psychologist. The power of names again. This one time the psychologist says, let's have a group session. And we have a group session, and the psychologist says, you know, your affection, your love is almost always expressed in the names that you give to your children. For example, you named your daughter Candy because you love candy. And you named your daughter Penny because you love money. And then there was this woman that, before us, exclaimed, oh my God, come on, Dick, let's go home. Needless to say, any questions? We do have a question. The questions are put on the screen for those that are joining us online, but otherwise also here. Let's start here.
Hi, Program Director.
I'm not going to give answers to these. The guys that the questions are posed to, please, can you get the roving mics to them so they can answer as a blieftoch? Thank you.
Hi.
Yes, sir.
My name is Faisal from Hibiscus College. I just want to say a big thank you to Noktula and the team for doing such a wonderful job for one office to service the entire country. Well done, Noktula. Really.
That's fantastic. May I also take this opportunity to acknowledge Ms. Leanne Gundi, who's with us here from the SA Chamber of Baking. I need to acknowledge you, ma'am. Welcome and thank you for joining us. I need another question from here, or otherwise, let's read from Natalie Holsworth. When is FoodBev system going to get fixed? A lot of money was spent on this program, which has not worked since implementation. We're now having to do double work to fix the huge problems from migration as well. Can you switch that mic on?
Thank you. Thank you very much for the question. We just implemented a new system. And expectedly, but unfortunately, it comes with some glitches, new implementations of system. We are mindful of the fact that there are some stakeholders that perhaps are having challenges there and there. But our role as a SETA is to continuously improve. And as we do that, we will be engaging, with stakeholders, and we continuously engage with stakeholders, particularly those that are having specific challenges with the system, to make sure that they are capacitated, and also specifically the issues that they are experiencing are resolved. So we will keep engaging stakeholders, and we will address these system issues, particularly with specific issues that are relating to specific stakeholders. Thank you.
I hope that question is answered.
Yes, thank you very much, Sia, for the response. And, to Natalie for posing the question. We have Noktula the robot on screen because we want to say to our stakeholders in the industry as a whole that we're going heavy on the digital side of things. It's a digitalization journey. So it will take a bit of time. I think what Sia mentioned now is just the tip of the iceberg. You don't have a hard copy of the annual report, and it's not an accident. Our view is that we must go paperless completely. The real test is, of course, when you engage with the SETA as to whether your online experience at the end of the day is a better experience or not. So please, by all means, we encourage whatever frustrations that you have for you to share them with us, as we digitalize. Digitalization is not only automation. So we are not just converting what used to be manual into an automated process. We are actually ensuring that IT, to a very large extent, adds value to the work that we do. So over time, possibly in 2 years from now, that process would be totally complete. It is my considered opinion that your experience with our systems has in fact improved. It is nowhere close to where it needs to be. It still needs to improve even further, but we are indeed on that journey. And more of this will be revealed in the course of today. Thank you.
Great, thank you. One more from Vutivi Mashimbia. May you please be able to share the presentations for virtual attendees? And the answer to that is yes. But may I ask you to elaborate on that? There was a question before this. Oh, about qualifications. Okay.
Right. Thank you. We welcome the question that was posed by Natalie Holsworth on the industry's views with regards to the qualifications that are new to have developed. What we know is the industry is happy, is in full support of the qualifications that we've developed. We have had numerous engagements with the industry, with various, employers, I think to a certain extent as well, we have had engagements with people who are very much involved, like the likes of production managers, production supervisors. It is them that sit and give us inputs on what is it that we have to put on a particular qualification in the form of a curriculum. Thanks.
There's a question here.
One more question?
Two more. And then
Okay, two more, and then we move on, please. Can we have another mic that side so we can...
Oh, it's mine. Thank you.
Let's start that side, ma'am, please. Let's start with the gentleman here. Go for it.
Okay, thank you, MC. My name is Peter Hlabisa from Transtic Africa. I would like to congratulate you for getting a clean audit, which is something that is required from the SETAs, because the SETAs are in turmoil. My first question has been answered because what CEO mentioned that there was no wasteful expenditures, but when I was looking at the document, fortunately I was having the actual document. When I was looking at it, there were some figures that are appearing there, 1.8 and 499. Then I think the auditor did clarify on that for me. What I want to ask on page 94, let me start with page 122. On page 122, can you clarify it for me in terms of the increase on the IT expenses and also the conference and seminars? Because if you look at the figures,
so it's a clarity-seeking question.
Yes.
Thank you.
And also the adjustments on. Oh God. Sorry, bear with me. I was just praising the.
Okay, can I hold this and you check?
Okay. Yes. On the revenue, the adjustments on the revenue, the actual budget and the adjustment, the figures there, if you can a little bit clarify in terms of how it has increased in so that kind of a percentage. I don't know whether it makes sense, the question.
Okay. So I'm going to give it to CFO. 94 for CFO.
Mr. Makuku. Yes? Can you respond?
Yes. Thank you, Chair. The first one, I think you're talking to Note 8. 122. Yeah. If you look there, Mr. Peter, there's in the conference and seminars, there's 4 asterisks there. If you go down to the asterisk, it does indicate the increase in IT expenditure is due to increase in IT requirements after office move. So when we move the office, we had to reinstall the whole networks. We had to also move all the. I'm not a technical IT person, but my CIO is here. He can give you the breakdown of all the ICT expenditures that we incurred when we moved the offices. And you're welcome to take it offline and have that discussion. The other one is conferences and seminars. You see also there's an asterisk there that just above that one that shows the increase in conferences and seminars was due to stakeholders gala dinner that was held in the current year. Does that cover you? Yes. All right. Yeah.
Okay.
On the revenue, I didn't really get the question properly. Still trying to figure out. 106, right. Oh, all right. The adjustments are when I remember I was explaining when I was doing the presentation about retention of surplus and how we incorporate it in the budget. So we first draft our budget without the approval of the retention of surplus. So once it's approved, we then incorporate the budget and with all the midterm adjustments that we do. That's what the column represents. Are you covered?
Okay. All right. There was a question somewhere here. Oh. Yeah. That's right.
Ma'am?
Good day, everyone. My name is Mpumi from Asime. My question is based on extended capacitation. Or first, let me commend the CEO and her team, or the FoodBev as a whole, for an amazing work that they are doing
we as ASIME and our learners and entrepreneurs, we are the living testimony of the positive impact on the ground that these programs have yielded. So thank you, FoodBev. Now, my question is based on further capacitation. What do I mean by that? In as much as we appreciate through our strategic partnership, the funding that is dispersed for the skills development programs such as NVC, etc. My question is, what is the possibility, if any, for extended capacitation? What do I mean by that? When these learners or these entrepreneurs have passed the year of the learnership, as we are all aware that the learnership is a one-year program. On our own accord as ASIME, we have decided to extend the capacitation to what we call Entrepreneurs Aftercare Program, because we felt that 1 year of in-class training and practical training is not enough to produce a well-capacitated entrepreneur. That then requires what we term Entrepreneurs Aftercare Program, where we have also engaged with various stakeholders, such as the PwCs of this world, to assist us with further capacitating these learners or emerging entrepreneurs with things like producing a bankable business plan, etc. Now, back to extended capacitation. This now speaks to international capacitation. For instance, with our bakerpreneurs, so we call them those that are involved in the bakery industry, what is the possibility, FoodBev, to set aside funds to allow these learners to be exposed to international skills development so that they are globally competitive? Thank you.
In the interest of time, after the answer that Mr. Mkiti is going to take, we're going to continue with our program. We will have another set of questions later, or some time to ask further questions if you do. Mr. Mkiti.
Thanks, Program Director. In response to the question from ASIME, as a SETA, number one, I must indicate that we have got a limited budget. So in as much as it could be a good idea that we provide additional funding post the training that has been implemented, but however, it is because as a sector, we've got other beneficiaries that we also need to extend our programs to. Particularly, it is against that background that when we open the special projects or strategic projects, they are not just like the discretionary grant projects. Hence, one of the things that we require is to say, what is it that the partner is bringing on board? Amongst the other things that I want to highlight is the fact that we normally say, will there be any post support, which is something that will be provided by the partner. Let me make an example. We will be saying, if, for instance, learners has been trained on new venture creation and they've completed, we expect, amongst the other things, normally to say from the partner that there will be that post-support in terms of taking them through. For instance, if they are doing the actual, let's say, the business plans, that they assist them post the actual support. When they are doing maybe the proposals, that they will sort of support, provide that support. It is correct that we do have some international programs, but obviously we cannot say they will focus on those that we have trained before. But in areas, like we've had another program, in areas where there are already existing SMEs and then they need international support, we do try and provide those, but I must indicate it as a SETA, those are very much limited as a result of the funding or the available budget which we've got. Would ideally love to, but it is just not possible because we want to expand to more beneficiaries within our sector. Thank you.
If I can just add to what Mr. Mgiti is saying, you know, I don't want us to come across as though we are not open to ideas. I think innovative, creative, out-of-the-box thinking is absolutely important in everything that we do. You asked about whether it's possible. Everything is possible. You know, the question is when and to what extent. That the question has been posed and raised means that we will indeed look at it. Mr. Mgiti is sharing with you the realities that we confront, limited budgets, limited resources, all of that. Within that, we must choose amongst alternatives as to what we do. But I appreciate the question that was posed and promise you that we will indeed look at it. It's a question of when and to what extent, you know, we'll be able to do it. Thank you very much.
On that note, let me extend the word of welcome and acknowledge the presence of DHET DG, Dr. Nkosinathi Sishi. Welcome, sir. CD-SETA Coordination, Mabuza Ngubane, and the KZN Regional Manager, Ubheki Ngubane. We want to say welcome to you. We acknowledge you. We are excited that you're here. Even more so, the graduates from cum laude that the CEO spoke about. These are the guys who have special needs, but were supported by the SETA to what you see now. They are graduates. A round of applause for them, please. And now, I hope this is going to be interesting, but we are going to ask to be addressed by Ms. Tulisibia on the annual performance plan for 2024-2025. Ms. Sibia, please come to the podium.
Good morning, everyone. Sanbonani, Dumelang, Abusheni, and Dima Cheroni still, and Huyemore, everyone. My name is Noktula Sibia, and I hope I won't be boring. I'm here to present the strategic documents for the food and beverage SETA for the coming financial year. And then I'm one of the young, vibrant colleagues that CEO was talking about. Okay. All right. So in terms of our strategic plans, maybe I should take you through the journey. What we did as a SETA, I feel confined. Okay. Yeah, I'm better now. So what we did with the SETA, we went through a process of developing our strategic documents, and it started in-house. So in-house, we reflected back in terms of how far we are in terms of our planning and what is it that we want to achieve for the coming 2 years that is remaining in our strategic planning. Then post that, we had our board strategic session, and then we also planned. However, the planning was also informed by our sector skills plan. And through our sector skills plan, ladies and gentlemen, we were able to identify what the sector needs. And with that, we are able now to look at the priorities that are needed for our sector. So In that, we looked at the external analysis of our sector in terms of what is affecting our sector, and we had to make sure that we take note of everything that is affecting our sector. And it is highlighted in this slide. For the purpose of time, allow me not to go through it. It's just basically highlighting the issues that are happening in the country in terms of political uncertainties, issues of coalition government that is affecting our food and beverages sector. Our GDP contribution in the sector as a manufacturing sector is we are contributing a large amount. However, the GDP is not growing in our sector, in South Africa, and then it does affect the employment of our sector. And then geopolitical conflicts as well is one element that is also affecting our sector that we need to look at in terms of the manufacturing sector. How do we improve that? The BRICS agreement comes as a positive to our sector as well, which will assist in terms of the free trade agreements that will be signed. It will, and if I can maybe move to technological advancements and cybersecurity, which is quite big because according to stats, 5.5 billion companies were actually hacked in the past year, which is quite a very big number. And then we have the Paris Agreement, if I can talk to the climate change, where we have to adhere to the carbon credits as well. And then lastly, maybe touch on, bring it home in terms of the OQSF transition. This is quite a transition that is affecting our stakeholders and is affecting us as a SETA in terms of planning. And then I'll be talking to it when I move to the actual strategic document. So in terms of our planning, ladies and gentlemen, we also look at the external environments that might affect our sector in terms of the change drivers. So what are the change drivers that affected the supply and demand for our sector? The first one that I'm going to touch on is food safety and nutrition, because it's quite prevalent that consumers have changed their healthier, the options in terms of eating, and that has affected, in terms of the manufacturing sector, what we produce as the food and beverage manufacturing sector. I don't separate us. I know that we're in skills development, but we are part of the manufacturing sector. So what happens on the ground affects us as a SETA. So contributions of sugar, salt, and high fat has led to nutritional related problems that now, as a sector, we have to pay cognizance of, especially when we're doing our food packaging as well. So there is also a growing trend of sugar-free diets, gluten-free diets as well, and where now we also are concerned, are very health conscious in terms of low calories. Issues of foodborne illnesses are quite prevalent, and the outbreaks are affecting consumers. So as the food and beverages manufacturing sector, we have to make sure that this change driver we pay immensely attention to. Then food traceability is also important. People want to know where the food is coming from, so it is one of the change drivers as well. If I can move to technology, technology is advancing in the food and beverages manufacturing sector. Now, as a SETA, what is it that we are doing in terms of making sure that we upskill, the cohorts that are on the ground in the various technological skills so that they are able to not lose their jobs. But at the same time, people always have this perception that robots will take people's jobs. However, robots are not here to take people's jobs, because those robots needs to be produced, they need to be maintained, and they need to be programmed. So it is up to us as a SETA, how do we now train for those particular skills? So population growth and urbanization is quite increasing, because there is, according to Stats SA, there is, in terms of the employment, not the employment, apologies for that. So the survey that was done, we are currently sitting at 62 million, according to the census survey, but it has been estimated that we will be at 76 million by 2050. That is an increased growth of 14 million in terms of the population. Now it comes back to us. What are we doing as the food and beverage manufacturers to ensure food safety as well? So, and then I can just move to climate change, which is something that I touched on in the previous slide, is that as manufacturers, we need to move from the brown economy to the green economy. But at the same time, when we're working in the gray economy, we make sure that we use energy in an efficient manner. The energy crisis has and is an elephant in the room in terms of how it affects how we do production as manufacturers, because in the space of manufacturing, you do use high energy, you do need a lot of energy. And with the load shedding, it is not sustainable, especially for our small businesses, for them to be able to produce as much as they would like to produce due to the energy crisis. So it is one of the change drivers. So ladies and gentlemen, if I can just move to our strategic plan. Our strategic plan normally doesn't change for a 5-year period, and we are sitting at year 4. Next year is our year 5. So we are completing our strategic planning as a SETA. And with us now completing our strategic plan, we need to ensure that we meet these particular targets. I can safely say that we are doing very well in terms of our strategic plan. Those that we are struggling with, we have planned to see how we mitigate against them. So we have various strategic indicators. The first 3 basically talks to the budget allocation for the various skills. And then, if I can, and then we have in indicator 4, we have research reports that we have developed. And our target for the 5 years, it's 10. And I can safely say, as the head of research, this target has already been met. So we are just now adding, it will be a bonus for us going forward. I think that deserves a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And then we also have a target in terms of the research articles that we need to produce. I think the CEO did touch on the importance of producing research articles, because ultimately, if we produce research for ourselves as a SETA, what is our purpose? So we aim to produce research that is impact-driven, that is effective, and that is going to respond to the sector needs. So with that, we are planning to produce 3 research articles, and my prediction is that we will also overachieve this particular target, because we are working tirelessly to ensure that our research is accredited in terms of journals. And then we have also a target that speaks to priority occupations. So in the sector skills plan, we produce sectorial priority occupations interventions list. So that particular list is what we get from our stakeholders through our WSPs mainly, but there are various research processes that we follow to gather that data. So it is through that we produce the top 10 list. And then that top 10 list is a list that we are saying as a SETA and to our board and to our stakeholders that are accountable for, that should we train on this as a SETA, we'll be training something that is quite impactful. So it is important that the information that we receive is credible, so that what we produce, it is exactly what the sector needs. So for that target, we had a target of between 86 and 90% to train those. Okay, if I can move now to indicator 7, that speaks to the total discretionary grant funding window, funding directed towards work-based learning programs for unemployed learners. That is the target for our 5 years, and that target we will definitely meet. So in terms of the other indicators, in terms of indicator 8, 9, and 10, it's 11. It specifically speaks to what the lady from ASIME was talking about, which is transformation. So what is it that we're doing in terms of partnerships, private and public partnerships to strengthen skills development? The answer is in our strategic document. We make sure that we form those partnerships in order for us to meet that target. But it's not only target driven, but we do things to touch lives and to make sure that we create impact as a SETA. So those targets are there. I don't think numbers lie, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, and then if the other indicator is now us making sure that we consult the various experts in our sector. Who are experts is people that have been in our sector for a while. So we check how long you've been in the sector, and then what is it that you've been doing in our sector, which is quite important, and the position that you hold, because we're looking for people that are more in strategic positions. For that, we consult and find out what we are training. Is it impactful? But it doesn't only stop on the target for 10. We actually aim for more. We do have chambers, CEO touched on them, a quite important section that is under the RPME department, Research Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation Department, where we have different chambers where they are chaired by some of our board members in terms of getting the insights from industry, because our offices are in Sandton. we don't have any manufacturing business happening in Sandton. But it is through engaging with stakeholders that we get insights, and it helps us to shape the direction of the SETA. It is through chambers. You can get in touch with me if you want to be part of our chambers as well. So in terms of the other targets, we have a target that we need to produce artisans. We do know that this is a national imperative, and even the minister's imperative of training artisans. So as a SETA, we contribute towards that target, and our target is 800 to 1.1 for the coming 5 years. And then we have the indicator for qualification development that is also sitting at 13, and I can safely say that that particular indicator has been met. And then we have under indicator 15, number of TVET colleges supported to offer occupational directed programs. That particular indicator is 7. And then we have number of public CET colleges to support in learning relevant communities. The target is 3. We conducted a research on needs analysis for CETs, because what we said to the board is that we don't want to just support CETs just for supporting them. Let's rather go on a national drive, find out what is it that the CETs need, and then from there, develop a plan. And my CEO supported us on that. Then from there, we did that study, completed the study, then we were able to support the CETs, and actually this target we have met, but we'll overachieve it, to support the community colleges, because they do need to be capacitated, and based on the needs analysis, we've identified the gaps to support them as well. Then we have an indicator that speaks to small businesses as supporting entrepreneurs and small businesses. This particular indicator speaks also to the partnerships. And then we have the indicator for stakeholder satisfaction. CEO did touch on it, that we do value our stakeholders. And for us to show that, we even have it in our strategic plan to say, did we meet our stakeholder satisfaction? The target is between 88 and 90%. That's a distinction in my knowledge, unless if things have changed. So we are aiming for a distinction in order to make sure that we do value our stakeholders. So in terms of the other target, it speaks to us supporting trade unions with the relevant skills, because as a SETA, we have employers and we have labor as well. So we do support our trade unions in this particular strategic plan. Then the career development is the target that we spoke to between rural and townships that we are supporting as well as a SETA. And this target, I can safely say that we have overachieved it as well. The last target in the strategic plan speaks to the unqualified audit outcome achieved. So this is quite an indicator that is quite important for this sitting as well. And it's something that the CFO and also the chairperson of ARC has presented on. If I can just pause just to take water a little bit. Okay, all right, the APP now. So the annual performance plan for 2024-2025, ladies and gentlemen, this is just a summary. Under administration, we have increased the targets. When CEO presented, we had ±6 targets, but in the next financial year, we'll have 8. And then for skills planning, we have 6 targets. And then under learning programs, we have 37 targets, and then quality assurance is 2 targets. In total, is 53 targets. And then in terms of the new targets that we have developed in our APP, post the planning, remember I took you through the planning process. So we have added under program 1, which is administration, percentage of discretionary grant budgeted allocated for high skills, intermediate and elementary skills. It is quite an important target that we've put here, because we need to now make sure, remember I presented the strategic plan, in terms of the APP, are we meeting what is needed in the strategic plan for those particular skills in the various NQF levels? Then we also have percentage of critical positions against approved structure and budget approved. So here we're looking at the various structures in the SETA and say these critical ones are not supposed to be unfilled. And the reason being is that we want to stay at least at 100% in terms of performance. And for us to stay there, we need to make sure that the relevant warm bodies are there in the office. I would like to bring your attention to the right in terms of the various targets that we have added. And it shows that as a SETA, we are transforming and we are change makers, because that's the theme that we came up with at the management strategic session. We have a target here, number of learners entered in entrepreneurial programs. This is a new target that we have planned for as a SETA. We do have another one, which is quite new, that speaks to the number of rural development projects initiated. Ladies and gentlemen, we are trying to drive impact as a SETA, and you will see through our targets. We also have one that talks now with partnerships with higher education, with TVET, and also CET colleges. So, and then another one, lastly, is the number of capacity building workshops for career development services initiated. So these are quite important targets for the SETA, and as a SETA, because we are a high-performing SETA, we are going to achieve those targets come 2024, 2025. So if allow me not to really go through the administration targets, basically it's those targets that I presented in terms of the high and intermediate skills, and then the plans that my CEO presented as well. So I will not really go through program 1. And then in terms of program 2, there are various indicators and they are similar to the ones that CEO had presented on. So I'll just move to program 3, which I'll spend a bit of time on it. So in terms of the QCTO transition, we had to go back as a SETA and say, how are we going to meet this deadline of 30 June 2024 to register all the learners? And this target is sitting at 1.6 for learnerships. But I can say that we need to pull all, like it's all guns blazing, all hands on deck, because this target is quite high and we will rely on the stakeholders to actually meet it, because if we register any learner for legacy qualification post 30 June 2024, those learners will not be compliant. So as a SETA, we are a compliant SETA, and we will really rely on the stakeholders to make sure that we meet this particular target, because at first we had a lower target, but due to the fact that it is one of the priorities for the department, we needed to increase this particular target. And then we also increased the target for unemployed learners for completions. It's at 2,000 because we want to complete all the learners that have any legacy qualifications as well. You will see that the target for internships was increased significantly so. Last year it was at 473, and then in this new financial year, next year, 2024-2025, it will be sitting at 710. This is now to compensate for some of the targets that we have reduced in the APP. And of course, we do rely on budget. Hence, you will see there will be some trade-offs that I'll be talking about. Then we have indicator 18, which talks to the number of students from higher education institutions who have completed an internship program. So that indicator is on 236 for 2024-2025. We have number of higher education institution graduates placed for company workplace-based learning, and then it's at 525. And then we also have number of higher education institution graduates who have completed the work-based learning at 365. Then we have number of students from TVET colleges who registered on a workplace program. This particular target, you see it's now sitting at 1,080, and then in the previous financial year, it was at 685. So we have also increased this target purely because it is one of the national imperatives, and it's one of the trade-offs when we had to reduce some of the target due to the QCTO transition. Then the other indicator speaks to the completion, and then the candidacy program is at 5. And then in terms of the registration of employed learners, this target, I need to be honest with our stakeholders that we reduced it because we always struggle with this target to meet it. So in us struggling in this target now, and based on the trends that we have seen, this target has been reduced. So depending on how we perform in the coming financial year, then we'll be able to, increase it again, and the demand, of course, and budget permitting. Then I'm trying to wrap up due to time. Okay, so I'll just take you through especially the targets that have been significantly increased or reduced. So we also have target for skills programs, we have reduced this particular target to 800, and this is because of the OQSF transition of the qualifications that are expiring 30 June 2024. So we need to make sure that all the learners, that registration is until 30 June 2024. So we need to make sure that all the learners are registered. So we have reduced this particular target. And then in terms of the other targets, there was no significant changes on them. Then if I can now move to the target for artisans, we have increased this target to 460. And in the previous year, it was at, or in the current financial year, it's at 305. This is a significant increase. And looking at how much it costs to develop an artisan, the SETA has really stretched in terms of this particular target. So, and then there's that new indicator that I touched on, where we are now entering into entrepreneurs programs for 15. The target is sitting at 15, and hopefully in the new planning, the target will be higher, Chairperson, to support entrepreneurs. And then if I can, I think I skipped a slide. Yeah. Okay, so in terms of this particular slide, there's a new indicator also to support rural development projects, because we are starting, we don't want to overstretch it, but should we meet and overachieve this particular target, then we will be able to plan going forward. So we're just seeing as a SETA if we'll be able to meet that particular target. And then the other targets, we have also a new target that speaks to CET support. The partnerships are 15 that we're targeting as a SETA as well. And then the other targets did not change significantly so. And then in terms of these particular targets for capacitation of career development, these targets had not changed. Training of career practitioners is quite important, because that's where we get to train the practitioners to understand what we do, so that they can train the learners in class in terms of the various programs that the Food and Beverages SETA is offering. And then we also have that particular indicator, which is a new indicator that speaks to capacity building workshops for career development services initiated. So this is a new indicator as well. All right, so yeah, at least I'm done. So I'd like to leave you with this words that do the best, from Maya Angelou, do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, you do better. I think as a SETA, we are doing the best we can so that we know better. And then when we know better, we can do better. With the stakeholders that we have, we are really driving impact, and we are planning to carry on driving the impact that is needed, and that is in skills development. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Prize of $1 million, who can tell us what the target was for this current year and what it is for next year for those that want to go into entrepreneurship? Any takers? I have 1 million. I promise you, I have 1 million. Questions. So our question session. May I ask that when you ask a question, you are directed. Please don't tell a long story. We want to get to as many people that we want to in 3 questions, so we can answer you as a blifdoch. Let's see hands. There's one question online from Madota Nyembezi. While we understand all the training that has been happening at FoodBev, this now is impacting stakeholders and training providers, as FoodBevs are always on study leave. How can this be resolved?
Thank you. So that directs to me, and I was here roving, I wanted to position correctly. CEO had mentioned that as the FoodBev SETA, charity begins at home. As we know, study leave is regulated. We want to service you better, we capacitate our people. Not to say there are no people, there are people that are within the SETA. People just have a preference on dealing with a Pretty, not a Thuli. So we need to train people that if Pretty is not there, on study leave, there's a lady called Thuli to help. We'll try to schedule our training that it doesn't impact some of the key deliverables that we service you better. But study leave is study leave. People need to go to train. As much as you want training, our people also need training, but we'll try to make ourselves available. And also the robot that is coming is going to teach you how you can get in contact with us when Thuli is not at the office. I'm not sure if the person is here or online.
Online.
Okay.
Thank you, Pretty. The next question is that of Natalie Holdsworth. How can we work together as a team when skills planning expert unemployed learners expect unemployed learners to have fancy scanners, and some people have bad eyesight, apparently in skills planning? I'm sure you guys will get it. Oh. Okay, Natalie, can I ask you to simplify that question, and we will come back to it. For now, I'm going to ask that before Dr. Sishi comes and address us as a keynote address, I'm going to ask that we take a 5-minute leg stretch. So, okay. Oh, okay, just a quick one before we...
Apologies for standing between you and a tea break. I was given an instruction to introduce the members of the ARC, and as I'm sitting there, I realized that I forgot to do that. And so I thought, let me, before the break, do that. So the ARC is made up of 5 people, and is strategically set in such a way that 3 of the 5 people are independents, and then 2 are members of the board. And the 3 independents, we strategically positioned ourselves in the areas that we are specialists in. So we've got 2 gentlemen this side. I'll mention their names. Lwazi Gubega. Can you stand up so they see you? Lwazi is a deep specialist in IT, where we've got issues around assurance about IT and the way it works within the entity. Lwazi is the go-to guy. And Mr. Mzi Dondolo, he's standing up. He is a deep specialist in risk management. So we go to him whenever we have to deal with difficult risk management issues, whether for assurance purposes or for operational purposes. Apologies, Chair, for not having done that job. I've now done it, I believe. Thank you.
Can we wrap these questions, if you will? I know I said tea break, but can we wrap this so that we start with a keynote? Okay, so I was refused an ID copy, which was extremely clear. And management and a gentleman refused the ID and was told he has bad eyesight, so he won't accept it. That's Natalie Holdsworth. Okay, Samantha, do you want to respond to that?
Yes, Dr. Ndwandwe. So some of these issues, as the CEO said, that she prefers that we maintain it in the spirit of reporting on what the presentation is. We're going to have stakeholder capacity workshops where we can deal with these operational matters. Not that there's no issue or there's issue with eyesight, but those we can address is on a one-on-one engagement with our stakeholders. Those are coming. We're going to share the schedule that please interact with us that we deal with issues like this ones. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah. May I ask that the second question also be dealt in that sense, because it's a detailed one and it would require stakeholder engagement. On that note, tea is served. For 10 minutes, guys, I will come and grab you if it means that, if you're not back. 10 minutes, please.
Into that blue. Into that blue.
Ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to step inside the venue. A world of wonder, intrigue, and inspiration is about to unfold. Oh, please bring your cup of coffee and tea with you.
Can we settle down so we can get started, please? Thank you. Those of you that are still outside, please make your way inside so we can get started. We did agree on 10 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to step inside the venue. A world of wonder, intrigue, and inspiration is about to unfold. Oh, please bring your cup of coffee and tea with you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think, as I said before we took the tea break, we are going to be addressed by the Director General at the Department of, I almost said of Health, of Education. And I'm going to ask the Chairperson to come and do the prelude for us, please. Chair.
Dr. Ndwandwe, thank you very much. Those that are outside, if you could please make your way in, we'll really appreciate that. Those that are outside, maybe I'm louder than Noktula. If you, if you can please make your way in, we'll really appreciate. So we have Dr. Sishi here, who is the Director General from the Department of Higher Education and Training. And I thought I'll say a few words, Dr. Sishi. To everybody's benefit, there are many SETAs. You know, I was saying to Mr. Ngubane, who is accompanying the DG, that, hey, it must be tough. You know, many SETAs, and we all have our AGMs at the same time. So you can imagine that they're running from one AGM to the other. So we were not even sure that Dr. Sishi would actually make it, and we are very happy that he made the time to be here. I saw officials from Health and Welfare SETA, you know, this morning, who are having their AGM today as we speak, you know, as well. So Dr. Sishi started there first, you know, in the morning, negotiated the program in order for him, you know, to come to this end to give us an official address. So we really appreciate. Contextually, Dr. Sishi, Unoktula, the robot over there, works with Noktula, the CEO, within FoodBev. The symbolism behind that, Dr. Sishi, is that our intention is to go heavy on the digital side and to enable through digitalization, through online means, for us to reach out to as many as possible, for them to be able to reach out to us, you know, as well. To management, the board said, paperless. We're printing too much paper, cutting down too many trees. We must go completely paperless. And we are on that drive. So we're automating and we're changing our business processes so that they are friendly as much as possible to those that are literate as well as to those that are illiterate in as far as IT is concerned. The experience must be significantly better. So we welcome you as I say that to you. Also, I think you should hear it from me that I think the year under review, 22-23, yes, was an important year for the SETA. I think we had been getting unqualified audits, but not clean audits. Last year, when I had an opportunity to talk to you in our one-on-one with the minister, I'm not sure if you will remember, but you said to me, you need to push harder. You know, and I'm very proud to say to you that indeed we, you know, achieved a clean audit. The challenge, of course, going forward is to keep it at that level. I'm sure you also saw that Nokuthula, who spoke as you came in, our researcher, very energetic, as you said, Nokuthula. Maybe I must also say I'm one of those highly vibrant, energetic, but older people within the SETA. So we tried, Dr. Sishi, as much as possible to give the younger people within the SETA space, with guidance for them to learn, to cut their teeth at the things that we do, to make mistakes also, where necessary as we guide. We've also encouraged the CEO, to allow that, and she does that spectacularly well as well. So very proud to have you here. I'm going to ask Nokuthula, our CEO now, to share with the room, who Dr. Sishi is before we give him the opportunity to speak. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon again. Oh, it's worse than it was in the morning, but it's before lunch. Is this Zukile? Anyway, my job here, as the chairperson has said, is to introduce our Director General, Dr. Nkosinasi Sishi. Dr. Nkosinasi Sishi is the Director General of the Department of Higher Education and Training in South Africa. He has 36 years of experience at different spheres of government and state-owned entities, holding various positions in the executive and senior management services in the public sector. His career spans out across different spheres of government, as indicated. He has been the head of entity in the trading entity of the National Department of Transport Driver's License Trading Account, DLCA. He was a Deputy Director General, Governance Council, Office of the DG. He was a Group CEO at PRASA, which is Passenger Rail Agency of South Africa, Deputy Director General in Public Entity Oversight, Deputy Director General Planning, Policy and Strategy, Superintendent General, Head of Department, HOD in KwaZulu-Natal. By the way, he comes from the same township I come from, Umlazi. So we are very proud products of Elokshin. Chief Director, Education, Measurement, Assessment and Public Examination, Director, National Examinations and Assessment. He was also a Chief ES lecturer, principal, and a teacher. His academic qualifications is that he holds a doctorate in philosophy, specializing in management education from the University of Johannesburg. He has several activities that I won't mention right now, but it is important to mention his special achievements. He has received a gold award as a winner for Best Head of Department in 2015. He had a leading role and catalyst to establish the web-based national systems of public examinations and assessments, also known as the Integrated Examination Computer System, IECS, for processing the matric exam results from 2003 to 2011. He is the author of Marking Matric, published by the HSRC in 2007. He is an A-level merit award for excellent leadership, program and project management and administration of the national exam systems in South Africa from 2006 to 2009, regional curriculum coordinator, catalyst and leader to eradicate the old curriculum and implementation of the new curriculum from 2005 to 1998. And he's also the author of a prescribed matric certificate history book titled From Apartheid to Democracy in 1997. Please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Dr. Sishi.
Program Director, thank you very much. You have been very kind to me to accommodate me the way you have done. I really appreciate. I came at the right time when the CEO was suggesting that the leadership of FoodBev is characterized by youth and that youth quality. May I also introduce myself as a young and vibrant, unlike Alan, who disowned the youth. At the time, he was the chairperson of the FoodBev SETA, Mr. Alan Campbell, members of the FoodBev SETA Accounting Authority present here today. Our CEO of FoodBev SETA, and thank you very much for the kind words of introduction, Noktula Silamulela, the FoodBev SETA executive and the entire SETA personnel, all stakeholders, may I emphasize all stakeholders present. Without you, without your contribution, the achievements that are reported in this AGM would not. May I just make an observation, Chair? It's not about the answer to the question. It is about also the attitude towards the question. There are many South Africans at the receiving end of our services. Some of them can read and write, others can't. And it's important for us to take every question seriously as we try to service our people, no matter where they are located, whether middle class, poor, rich, young and old. It is crucial for us to do this because it's fundamental to service delivery. So well done. I think I've enjoyed the intervention by the chair earlier on when he also further elaborated on the importance of going behind the question to try and understand the dynamics and that inform those questions so that we don't take our people for granted. We take their questions very seriously. That is something I'm going to take away from this AGM, amongst others, as a lesson learned, which I'm very happy to share with anyone else, particularly in the department. Because what I'm saying here also applies to the very department that I lead. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to each and every one of you present here. We appreciate having been invited to this, the occasion of the annual general meeting of the FoodBev SETA, as you reflect on the challenges and achievements of the SETA and chart the course for the future of this sector, which remains, I would argue, the bedrock of our economy. For our economy, this is such an important sector, as it includes, amongst others, the production, processing, and the preservation of meat, fish, fruit, vegetables, oil and fats, and the manufacture of daily products, the manufacture of breakfast products, food preparation products, and manufacturer of beverages. As we gather today, it is crucial to acknowledge the dynamic nature of the FoodBev sector. The challenges you face as a sector are diverse, from technological advancement to shifting consumer preferences and global economic fluctuations. Yet it is within these challenges that you find opportunities for growth and innovation. Over the past year, the FoodBev SETA has played a central role in shaping the skills development landscape within the sector. This is evidenced by having achieved 54 of the 55 targets of the SETA annual performance plan, translating this performance to 98% of achievements. I think it's important when you say that to also take note of the fact that this is an improvement from the previous performance, located at 95% in the financial year 2021-2022, preceded by 80% in the 2021-2021 period. Clearly, the trajectory is upwards in the performance, and I think that is what we appreciate more. And the harder you work, and in fact, the more you come closer to a perfect record, the more difficult it's going to be. But you have the support of our department, you have the support of our minister, and I'm privileged that I stand here representing our minister, who's currently leading a delegation at UNESCO to report on our contribution and pound of flesh in the Sustainable Development Goals. We have committed ourselves, various international conventions that we have committed ourselves as South Africa. And at some point we must go and account on our contribution in that regard. He has pulled with him a number of SETA CEOs, a number of vice chancellors of our universities, and principals of TVET colleges and community colleges in this regard. And that's why I stand here today. Otherwise, him and the Deputy Minister, Mr. Butima Namela, would love to be here today. And I can assure you that it's not going to be long that they are with you again to contribute and support the sterling effort that you're putting up as a SETA. Having been awarded a clean audit by the Auditor General of South Africa, in my own experience, I believe this Auditor General is one of the most progressive. I think if you look at the methodology that the Auditor General has adopted, of actually not just ticking the box of your APP, but and the management letters sent to our CEOs, but also looking at the impact. It makes a huge difference that it's not just a tick box exercise. So to achieve a clean audit under such stringent measurement systems put in place by the Auditor General must be commended, because that means you can perform at that level under any measurement rod by the best in the world. I respect your achievement, your effort, and I trust that we'll continue to do so. But what I saw this afternoon is also that you are taking your stakeholders seriously. That is going to take you beyond just the boxes that we tick, to suggest that we are performing, to actually say to each and everyone, in society, here is a SETA that is serious about service delivery. And I think you need to be congratulated and encouraged to continue in that regard. Your commitment to excellence and adaptability has allowed this sector to navigate the ever-changing currents of the business environment successfully. Recognizing the rapid advancements in technology remains forever critical in this sector of our economy. And I think the last comments by Ted Campbell in the chair, underscores the commitment of the SETA in ensuring that the fifth industrial revolution that is beckoning it finds us ready to participate and also take advantage of the opportunities presented to us in this era. Ladies and gentlemen, I think in that path, you are assured of the support of our department as you travel in that regard. Recognizing the rapid advancements in technology from automation to data analytics, your skills development initiatives should be designed to ensure that the sector remains at the forefront of innovation. As you celebrate the achievements, it is important to acknowledge the individuals who form the backbone of the sector, your own workforce. And I think I take this opportunity to recognize all the trade unions that represent them, all the workers individually, particularly those at the back office who are not here to celebrate with us in the fantastic AGM here in Durban, but also those who make it possible for us on a daily basis to make sure that this SETA continues to provide the fantastic service that you're providing to South Africa. Looking ahead, the challenges before you are formidable, but so is your determination to overcome them. It is required for you to look. The rapid pace of change demands agility. It demands foresight. I have confidence, as the Minister is of the Accounting Authority, I have confidence in the executive management and its leadership that you are going to learn from your mistakes, because even though your results are so good, I'm sure you agree with me that there is always a room for improvement. In this regard, I trust that you'll be humble and learn from those mistakes. I can assure you, you are going to grow from strength to strength. The future of this sector is intricately linked to the skills development initiatives you undertake today. By nurturing talent, fostering innovation, and embracing sustainability, you can build a resilient foundation for generations to come in the FoodBev sector. Let us seize the opportunity that lie ahead, working together to create a future where the food and beverages manufacturing sector stands as a beacon of excellence. You are holding this annual general meeting against the backdrop of the launch of the National Plan for Post-School Education and Training on the 7th of September 2023, which signaled our government's commitment towards achieving an improved, transformed, expanded, responsive, and articulated post-school education and training sector. Our National Plan for Post-School Education and Training is our roadmap for implementing the vision of the White Paper on PSET. It will continue to guide our SETA system strategy and planning instruments as it is framed within the broader goals and priorities of the NDP, which foregrounds the national efforts to address the triple challenges, I dare add the quintable challenges if you include gender-based violence and femicide, which I think over and above poverty, unemployment, and inequalities that bedevils the work of government and challenges us immensely. It is crucial for us to work to eradicate. The department is involved in the crafting of a reconceptualized, further than the plan, human resource development strategy and the implementation plan. You realize, Chair, that the HRD strategy of this country is led by the Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa. And this is deliberate because we do not want the HRD work to be departmentalized in government, so that one department that is asked to lead it, it then becomes located in that way. To ensure that each and every government department makes its contribution, we have ensured that the Deputy President, reporting directly to our President, leads the HRD strategy. Last year, I invited all our SETAs, all Vice Chancellors of our universities, including the principals of all PSET institutions, to a joint planning program for the first time since the advent of our democracy. All of us have sat together, planned together, agreed on what our priorities are going to be. And the Minister has embraced and approved this national plan for post-school education and training. But what is new about this is that further to this, the Minister has appointed a steering committee that is going to oversee the implementation of that plan. You know that we've been very good in developing frameworks, in developing plans, but when it comes to the implementation of the plans, we've been tested. And I think it's important for us that we have the steering committee, which consists of the captains of our industry, selected and nominated on merit for their experience and expertise. The department, therefore, is happy to announce progress in respect of the process for the review of not only the HRD strategy, because you know that since its implementation in 2001, there's about 3 or 4 other versions of the same that we embarked upon in 2003, in 2005, up to 2017. Almost 5 revisions of the HRD strategy since the first version that was implemented. And we have learned our mistakes. We have learned from the shortcomings of the implementation process for the HRD strategy. That is why we've now agreed that skills development is not going to succeed in our country if planning is done in compartments, in silos, by various government departments, by various SETAs, because not only because it depletes the resources at our disposal, but it undermines the impact that we are able to make if we work together. So in this regard, we've managed to pull the entire post-school education and training sector to work with us so that we make bigger and better impact. The purpose of the HRD strategy for South Africa and the master skills plan that we have agreed to develop, which now means that in as much as we have sector plans that we develop, overarching to the sector plans is going to be the master skills plan. That is going to be a plan which we call one country, one plan, one strategy. It is important that we work this way because our people deserve better than what we are providing at this point in time. And therefore, I am using this platform to call upon each and every one of you, ladies and gentlemen, to work with us, to work with the chair of the SETA, the accounting authority, to work with the executive management, to support our stakeholders in building a better skills regime for South Africa that makes better impact out there. I think this sector needs to respond to some of the sticking issues around the food issues, and particularly food security in our continent. I think it's important for us in our strategic focus to begin to really look at food security differently. Because if we don't do so, we will continue to tick the boxes of performance, pat ourselves at the back, whilst there are young children that are starving in the corners of our villages and streets in our townships, and this will embarrass us each time we pat ourselves on the back and meet hungry children in the continent of Africa, within the SADC region, and in our own country. It is crucial that we recognize that this mandate that you have is actually a core mandate for survival, and not just the core mandate from government. It clarifies the work that we do in the revision of the HRD strategy and the development of the Master Skills Plan, which aims to provide a well-coordinated and focused mechanisms to ensure the availability of human resources that are needed for South Africa's society and economy to address the imbalances of skill supply and demand in our country. That in addition, that strategy and plan, together with its associated processes and structures, are expected to bring about coherence in the system, to bring about rationalization, as well as improved efficiency in human resource development and skills planning for our country. It clarifies institutional arrangements that provides clear leadership and responsibility for key elements of education and training. As I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to take this opportunity to express on behalf of our minister, on behalf, in fact, of the Deputy President of our country, who chairs the HRD Council for South Africa, and express our sincere gratitude to all of you, led by the Chairperson, Mr. Alan Campbell, and the Chief Executive Officer, Ms. Nokuthula Silamlela, to ensuring that the resources of the SETA are spent wisely, and that you are able to account for each and every cent, even in the eyes of the Auditor General. I sent an uncomfortable letter to the CEO in the recent days about austerity. And I think perhaps as I conclude, I need to make this point, that it is painful when a country has to embark on a journey of austerity. Because when you do so, it is not just because you enjoy cutting budgets of government departments and entities, but it is sometimes to protect the economy. The Minister of Finance has been quoted recently having said that if we do not implement the austerity measures that have been introduced, by the end of the financial year, the country could be in trouble. I think it is important that we understand it from this point of view and support National Treasury in its attempt to protect our economy. But having said that, I need to assure you that the decision to cut budgets is something that I take very seriously. This year, after the instruction from Treasury that we cut our budgets, I wrote the letter, I think the first letter that I've written to National Treasury, that completely disagree with how austerity is being introduced. And I made it very clear that in my own budget that is allocated to all the 21 SETAs, I don't see any area for cutting budgets. Instead, I think some more resources are needed in this sector because of the crucial nature of the work that we do. I wish to assure you, I wish to assure you that I do not stand alone with that view. Our minister, our deputy minister, may I also say that we've met the National Treasury to discuss these issues. That's why I'm able to take a view that also understands where our Treasury is coming from with this. It is important. Therefore, my point about looking after the resources that we are allocated comes from the depth of an understanding that each and every cent of that budget means a lot to our citizens. So together, you have set the stage for a brighter, for a more skillful future in the sector and in our country. And for your contribution, I take this opportunity to thank you for this opportunity and wish you well in the new financial year. And thank you for your continued leadership and support of our minister. Thank you, Chair.
I do not want to spoil the moment by giving you another one of my life stories, so I am going to ask for the Executive Authority appreciation to be done by Ms. Mapule Nganyo. Please come forward, ma'am.
Let me take this moment and thank you very much, Honorable, my leader, for blessing and this occasion and being with us today, because indeed we do not work alone. We are here because we are delivering on a mandate that has been set by your department. Thank you for the address. It does remind us of the hurdles that we still face as a country. But also, it gives us hope for the opportunities that these hurdles present. And therefore, at the SETA, this very same SETA, we are grateful that you are here to see that we do not drive these opportunities in vain. We do it with our stakeholders because, after all, this mandate is to ensure that as businesses change, you rightly say so, as skills change with new emerging skills that we see, technology is taking over, we have to be at the fore of making sure that we assist our sectors to change with the changing global businesses. I'm not going to waste time, but to also say to you, we take our role very seriously as the board of the FoodBev SETA. So on behalf of the chairperson, its board, the management of the SETA, but most importantly, on behalf of the stakeholders that you see here, we want to tell you that we do not dip our fingers in the cookie jar. Instead, we work in tandem with our stakeholders to ensure that even if we stand here to appreciate you being here, to appreciate your support, it is them that say, will stand on your behalf. So I'm handing this not from the SETA. Yes, it's from the SETA, but it's from these guys who produce. We actually want you to understand that as we change our programs to fit and suit the new world that we live in, it is because we understand what these guys are doing, and we appreciate that they will show you how these changes have affected the outputs of their work. So if you don't mind to come back again, we missed each other in the other country, but now you are back here to meet me yet again. On behalf of all of us, Doctor, thank you so much. I was saying he must share with the minister and DM.
And maybe this is an opportune time to show the DG what the SETA is doing to actually embrace the rapid speed of change and how agility, innovation, and commitment has become a part of us. You would recall that in many instances you have, whether online or otherwise, requested of us to look at the functioning of our website. Today we want to show you progress. We want to show you the journey that we've embarked upon to make it easy for you to engage with us, make it easy for us to engage with you, because as partners in this, we have to make this thing work the best way we can. And to that effect, I'm going to ask that we indulge on this presentation.
Like millions of organizations worldwide, at FoodBev Manufacturing SETA, we understand the importance of a digital presence. Our newly redesigned website is not just a platform, it's a gateway to engaging with us more effectively and efficiently. Discover the evolving FoodBev Manufacturing SETA through our online portal and step into our digital world where innovation meets efficiency, and experience a seamless connection with FoodBev Manufacturing SETA like never before. Sonebanani. My name is Nokutula, and not Selamo Leila. I am Nokutula the robot. Our About Us section provides insights into our mission, vision, and the impactful work we do in the food and beverages manufacturing sector. There's also information on the various sectors we support. If you think we are your next employer, scroll down to see how you can join our team. Understanding what we do is crucial. Here, learn about how we can support your journey with our comprehensive services and product offerings tailor-made to empower, foster growth, and usher in an era of unparalleled innovation in the food bev manufacturing sector. If you need assistance, the Let Us Help You feature connects you to our team, ready to offer personalized support. Reach out to us anytime through the Contact Us tab. Though I may be a robot, there are always real, dedicated professionals at FoodBev Manufacturing SETA ready to respond. Whilst embracing digital efficiency, we have moved away from paper-based applications. All our learning program applications and funding requests are accessible via SIMS, our custom-developed online solution for managing training needs. It's user-friendly and accessible right from our website. Mr. Alan Campbell, this tab is not for you. It's for our stakeholders who still enjoy printing and citing. Browse our Publications tab for a wealth of other corporate reports. To stay updated with our latest news and events, please update your details on our website www.foodbev.co.za. Thank you for being a part of our journey towards digital excellence. We're excited to welcome you to the new era of the FoodBev Manufacturing SETA. Kiyabonga.
Yesterday, I was laughing at Puti, whose attempt to speak isiZulu came with isiZulu that had an accent. Today, I am laughing at Nokutula and Kiyabonga. So, the last item. So, the website, as you know it, would have changed as I'm speaking to you now. when you do log into our website, and you can test me as I'm speaking to you now, I see you grabbing your phones. As you know it now, would have changed to make it easy for you to interact with us. This is work in progress. It is not the final product. I need to also just highlight to you that we are doing exciting things around the repositioning of our website as well as the logo. So look forward to interesting things, whether you are online or you are here. Look forward to interesting things that are going to emerge as we embrace 4IR and make it easy for us to do this job of skills development. On that note, I am going to call Ms. Nokuthula Nsucha. Why is everybody Nokuthula? From the South African Council of Graduates to come and give a few words, and I mean a few words with regards to the award that the South African Council for Graduates is awarding to the CEO and to FoodBev for the work that they have done. Ma'am, a few words.
A few words. So I'm going to stick to my story. Program director, director generals that are in the house, chairperson of the board, all board members, the CEO, Ms. Selamulela, all the management and staff, to you ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the South African Council for Graduates, SAGRA, we are delighted to bestow this awards for youth employment. FoodBev have been working with us in the journey of ensuring that we address the issue of unemployment of young people. We implore the FoodBev to continue the good work of skilling our youth through internships, work integrated learning, and candidacy. I'm tempted to say, may you consider increasing maybe the annual performance plan targets for candidacy, but I've heard that there are challenges in terms of addressing the number that is succeeding on the candidacy. We have a database of about 7,000 unemployed graduates that is captured by our organization, which we believe that maybe, as I said, I'm tempted on the candidacy side, we might be finding more numbers, though there is a struggle in terms of addressing the candidacy. Congratulations, and I would like to hand over to the board, chairperson, and the CEO this award. Thank you. Maybe before I hand over, it's important that I read what is in this award. Youth Employment Award, Skills Funding Category 2023, awarded to FoodBev SETA, recognized as a champion partner in investing in skills development for the youth in partnership with the South African Council for Graduate through graduate internships, TVET work integrated learning, thereby fulfilling the mandate of the National Skills Development Plan. So we are happy to hand over this.
Say a word of appreciation. It was quite a surprise. We appreciate it. You know, I always say to our board and to the CEO that we should resist saying too much about ourselves in as far as our achievements are concerned. Our work must speak for us. And, you know, the achievements we secure must come from those that benefit from the work that we do. And this, for me, personally, is a good example of that. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much.
And for the final Giaponga moment, may I ask for Ms. Ntabizondo, a board member, to come and deliver the vote of thanks, please.
Program Director, Chairperson of the Board, Ndate Ellen Campbell, fellow board members and Audit and Risk Committee members, CEO FoodBev SETA, Ms. Nokuthula Selamulela, Management of FoodBev SETA, the Honorable Minister of Higher Education, Science and Innovation in absentia, Professor Bladen Zamande, Director General of the Department of Higher Education and Training, Ndate Nkosinati Sishi, representing the office, the Minister and present today, Deputy General, Mr. Zukile Mvalo, Department of Higher Education and Training, Chief Director responsible for SETA coordination, Ndate Ngubane, I saw him just now, Spokesperson for MEC and Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs in KwaZulu-Natal, Ndate Sibiya, representative from eThekwini Municipality, Mr. Voyo Jiaya, and Dada Dumisane, representative of the high institutions of education present here today and online, CEO of National Chamber of Mining, Ndate Buikanyo Mokgatle, CEO of Enterprise Ilembe, Ndate Linda Mngube, valuable stakeholders, general public here today and online, digital platforms, and all protocol observed. Phew. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am part of the youth today. I noticed that today the segmentation for youth has shifted quite a bit, and the youth bracket is now over 40 or over 50, so I am part of that, and we all seem to be wearing glasses, so I figured, okay, this is definitely the same WhatsApp group. It is such a privilege to be a manufacturer myself, to be here wearing different hats as a board member, but also as a manufacturer. It is not only a privilege because I'm amongst leaders and experts in our industry, but also because I serve a board that is very serious and genuine about what they want to achieve. But more so than that, the stakeholders are a huge contributing factor to what we achieve because you partner with us all the time, even in the most difficult times. So I'd like to do a few thank yous for today. So on behalf of the Food and Beverage Manufacturing SETA Authority and the executive management, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks and appreciation for every single one of you who graced this important occasion with their presence as we tabled our SETA's performance for the past financial year. You could have been anywhere else in this beautiful city or other magical parts of South Africa, but you decided this gathering was worth making time for. Your decision to prioritize this gathering over other commitments is a testament to the importance that you place in our initiatives and strategic goals, and we are grateful for your presence and your valuable contributions always. Thank you to my colleagues in the FoodBev Manufacturing SETA Accounting Authority, whose work has contributed to guide the SETA to the great performance that we saw presented today. My gratitude also goes to the SETA management and staff members whose work has been instrumental in ensuring that the SETA delivers high-quality skill development services in this important sector. We have heard how important our sector is, and we take it very seriously. Your commitment to excellence is highly commendable, and I extend my thanks to every one of you. Ladies and gentlemen, valuable stakeholders, before I conclude, because I know that program director is going to kick me off just now, please allow me to sincerely thank all of those who worked very hard to deliver this hybrid AGM. We live in a digital age, despite the fact that I still like paper. And we were able to convene through different digital platforms, and your knowledge and efficiency and dedication has allowed us to convene effortlessly and efficiently, and we were able to reach more people than we could have if we didn't have that. We thank you for making this AGM a resounding success. For those who joined us today virtually, thank you for embracing technology and doing so, and joining us. Your presence despite the fact you're far, is equally valued and appreciated. Also, I encourage you, virtually and here today, to use and test our website, because we want to engage with you. If you could go online today and now, if possible, to test it, we'd really appreciate that. To you, our delegates who attended the event physically, here today in the room with us, we wish you a safe and pleasant journey home. Your active participations, your questions, your probing, as well as online, are truly appreciated. We look forward to seeing you again. Ra leboha. I noticed that everybody is representing where they're from, so I'm bringing Joe back this side. Ra itebohela. Ra leboha. Thank you.
You see me coming to stage without a paper, you know it is the end. Before you go, though, here's what I'm going to request of you. There is a survey that has been emailed to you. I'd like for you to fill that in, just to give us a sense of your experience of this AGM and where we possibly can improve. Secondly, I'd like to say thank you to all the presenters that cited age as an interesting thing. What I'm taking, my take home from this, before I say that, let me tell you, you've got goodie bags outside, because this is the last statement I say. After this, you're not going to hear from me. Here's what my take home is. The DG, the chairperson, members of the board, like Ms. Ntabe, like Ms. Nganywa, they all say they are young. It has dawned on me that 50 is the new 21. Enjoy your day.